Are you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Black Site Studio Terrain.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing out there? So, Gaz here from the Sit Rep Studio. Hope you're all staying healthy, staying well. Hey, Scoreback, first man in. Welcome to another View and a Brew with Gaz. I actually do have a brew today. I was that organised. The duty cup of tea is stewing to my left. And it's not a bad one either. So I'll probably forget that and it'll go cold. I hope not, but you never know. It's part of the problem. Oh, Rasmus is on as well. Happy days. I don't get you on Twitch, Rasmus. I don't know what you're logging in with. I presume it's like Facebook or something. So if I miss the odd message, I apologise. I can just about make them out. I don't have the two screen setup that G has. So yeah, we're into the second to last model. 2 to go at the moment. And this is one of the 2 I've been saving. So yet again, it's the North African Militia from Spectre Miniatures. This guy's got a great level of attitude. Really like this model. I like the hair is ridiculously good. I love the detail on it. It's almost like scrim for a helmet when you look at it. So I could see how you could mistake it for that. And hopefully their models that do have scrim are as good as this is. Carrying the AK. We're in full tracksuit mode. Ah, cheers Rasmus. He's here normally too. He's everywhere. He watches from all angles. We're another flip-flop warrior. So again, ready for war. And I was messaging Marty today actually, because we've been kind of joking about an Adidas outfit for a little while. I think we're going to have a go with the Adidas stripes on this guy. It's definitely got the potential, shall we say. So we've got quite a good zip line down the front here. I'm not sure how I'm going to attack that yet. I don't even thought about that. So trying to make that look sort of gold, but without being too heavy. It might be a known wash over something, we'll see. Got the usual AK, happy days. So we're looking at striping. 3 stripes, literally 3 stripes that are quite close together. Looking at doing down the sides of the leg, down the sleeve arms. And then I'd look at the Adidas sort of symbol, and it's sort of a small little notch, a longer notch, a longer notch. So we're going to end like a half semicircle maybe. Not half a semicircle, a semicircle. Half a semicircle will be a quarter. So I'm going to have a look at doing that. And then the colours. I was looking at colour combos, because Adidas has got quite a lot in their range. And I eventually settled on something a bit different. So rather than black and red, or the white and blue that we've done quite a few of the trainers and stuff, I'm going to go with a black and a green, quite a strong green. I'm going to go a little crazy with the green. The idea of the crazy green is going to be this stuff. So we're talking some bling bling with the moot green. It's pretty punchy. It should make for an interesting dynamic. The reason I went with the black, because I wanted it to be a bit of almost fun tactical. So promptly dark clothes for night and then a bright green stripe. And we'll tie in the flip-flops in the same green, so you should be able to see them come up really nice. The idea with the shades, there is just about a rim at the top. I might be able to put a rim around the whole thing. So the question kicking out to you guys watching. So Rasmus is working from home. He can run this on his own laptop while working. Sweet. So the question for today is, what colour should the rim of the shades be? I kind of want to go red, just because it would be so different from the rest. It'll draw you up to the face. And I did see, what's the show called? I want to say Chicago PD. And one of the characters in that has a brother who has hair that's dark with sort of a blonde tip on short dreadlocks. So we're going to have a play with that as well and see if we can do that on this guy and make him a bit more interesting. So even though the bright colours on the tracksuit will make him stand out in that way, we're trying to draw the eye using the colour of the shades and the colour of the hair up to the head of the model on this one. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I don't want to natter too long because I'm supposed to be painting stuff as well, as well as talking rubbish. So, being that the majority of what I'm going to do at the moment is black, we're going to jump in with the contrast black Templar, big-ish brush, so medium shade, medium layer even, medium layer. Yeah, and interesting times ahead. Quick slurp of the brew before we begin, because at least I got 2 sips of it then before I forget about it. So yeah, coming towards the end now. I've got the gang leader left out to do. He's a big old boy. He's got like a big padded jacket on. We showed him off in the last episode. Very cool looking mini. So actually really looking forward to getting into that. We shall endeavour to find a new project after that. So Skoback, you were the one that weighed in with wanting to do, I want to say Cold War era, but we never really pinned down what. You know, I think we said about 28mm. Is that right? On one of the chat feeds. So it might be that we throw ourselves into that and start hunting around for what miniatures to use for that. I mean, the obvious answer is not 28mm, but if we were looking at vehicles and such, the sorry, I was just concentrating. Got a lot on the brush there. I want to pull that forward. It's the Team Yankee box sets, of which there is a British Army, which is kind of nice for me. I've still got my Combat 95 stuff, so the camo pattern. Steve remembers Combat 95, don't you, Steve? Just being a crow bag that he is. At which point he's now cackling his arse off because I just called him crow on. For those in the military, especially the British one, you'll understand why Steve is a crow in comparison to me. In fact, he's a baby crow. Poor lad. Steve's stuck at home as well. Steve's tribe of children, like one of them got a cold at school, so therefore they sent him home. I think, no, it might be one of the girls actually. See, told you'd be laughing. Did you actually steal the TV back? Oh, Rasmus is on with I like the red and add it to the coat, and Jim will like it too. The problem with that is I've got a guy in a red and black jacket already, Rasmus. It was one of the mobile phone dickers that we did. We did him in a black jacket, red and black cap, and I wanted to come away from that for this mini so that they didn't sort of clash on the tabletop, really, I suppose is the best way of saying it. The red shades, yeah, I don't know. So red shades is on the thing. So Steve couldn't get control of the TV remote, so he's currently on his phone. He like bathing any children at the moment. I'm making tea or dinner, different things, different parts of the country. But yeah, I'm currently at home, which is the dumbest thing I may have ever said on a stream, because if I wasn't at home I wouldn't be streaming. But what I kind of meant was I've currently been sent home from work. Red for the sunglasses for Rasmus. So you're all in on the red. Cool. Just need to get I can't even say it. Skoback and Steve 384's input. See what the community wants. The community kind of gets, unless they ask really crazy stuff, like apps on mobile phones, which I would happily do, but I'm not actually able to. So that'll be the reason why I didn't. Cool. So trousers are done. Oh, we might as well do the gun while we're here. Nearly forgot. I think Jim's popping in later, he said. G and Dawn are probably absolutely snowed under with work because they work in areas of nursing and such. So they're related to what's going on in the world. So a big shout out to them. Hopefully they're getting some sleep, that they're not dead on their feet and staying safe themselves. I'd appreciate you guys saying the same thing to all the medical staff and support staff and, you know, everything, EMTs down to the janitors that are cleaning the establishments. That we all wish you the best at this in this time of craziness. Going for his tea. First time I came across that, I was confused as hell. It's a Northern England thing for me. I don't know. Steve, you're from Wales. Is it tea for you? And when I say tea, I mean a cup of, not a. No, I don't mean a cup of. I mean food in the evening. Sorry, I was slurping brew. Actually remembered it. Ooh, that's one of the few times I think I've stuck my big fat fist in front of the camera that I've seen. I was about to say ever, but it's probably happened quite a few times that I've just not seen. And you've been kind enough not to point it out. I'm going to leave the bit between until I get to a smaller brush. I made that mistake last time where I was just lapping this stuff around the model where I shouldn't have been and all sorts. Ha! Somebody's cooking his tea. Bruce Von Lair. Andy? Get kettle on, lad. Be round for a brew and a bite to eat for tea after. So yeah, it's a bit of an easy start, this. It's like black, another layer of black, jacket black, hair black, gun black. Considering I wanted to put more effort into this, I'm kind of not bothered, am I? Talk about unimaginative. It's what happens when you leave me stuck at home all day. Come up with bad ideas as well as good ones. I'm not sure what the good one was. I think it was ordering Subway earlier. That was my good idea of the day. Let's be careful around this collar and try and not muck up too much. Camera's just a little off. I'll just adjust that. A little bit of it. Oh, there you can see the edge of the notebook that I'm painting on top of. When I pour the paint all over my desk, it doesn't necessarily leave too bad a mark. London Midlanders. Alright. There's a lot of dinner people out there. Lunch and dinner is the other one, I suppose. But no, so lots of shows have closed, which is obviously a shame, but sensible in light of things. For the UK and, well, the ones that I know of, Salute has made its announcement. UK Games Expo has made its announcement. Who else have we got? In the US, Adepticon's made their announcement. Is it Adepticon? Yeah, Adepticon. Do you guys know if anything's been said? I mean, Rasmus, you might, with Historicon yet? Have they put out any initial statements, any thoughts on how they're going to move forward, if they're going to move forward? Are they just having everybody wait out for now? Or just no word yet? This feels like a leather jacket now with all this. Looks like he's wearing leather pants and a leather jacket, which could be pulled off over there, definitely. I'll just turn this screen slightly. I've got the. That was annoying. So when I'm looking at the screen, I've got a massive reflection of the bulb from the lamp on my the The hell is it? Kindle Fire. Had to think. Just trying to see if anybody else is in. So I always apologise if you're on sort of YouTube and you start hitting me up. Jim normally steps in for me. I've had a couple of guys who've posted stuff on YouTube. I'm not exactly sure how to tie in the YouTube comments to this. The good thing is, now that I'm no longer in work, I've got a copious amount of time to figure that out. I say not in work, hopefully we'll be back in work soon. Because I'm not one for doing well when I'm stuck in the house for long periods. Let's quickly clean this brush. Well, most of the time. Holy crap! Is that in Wales only, or is that in England as well, Steve? All the schools are closing till September. I think, mind you, that might change if. When's the school holidays start? Bear with me, just taking in beverage. You can probably hear me slurping away and my lips smacking of liquid in the background. Oh, that's good. Should have bought them Jammy Dodger biscuits earlier though. Would have gone down well with that. Oh well, I'll have to make do with my Jamaican ginger cake and custard when I have my tea. That won't just be the only thing I have for tea, but it'll be the best bit. Cool, so just doing a quick check now around the smaller areas. I've already screwed up on the skin, but as we know, because I screw up a lot, I can repair that because the skin is not as much of a problem to get rid of stuff. Let's just get rid of some of this. So we talk about the excess sitting too long in the gaps. So I'm just going to grab out any of the stuff that's too heavily pigmented. Just move it around a little bit into the areas that kind of need a little more, hopefully. Like under the arms, the shadow of the arm. Ooh, that bit's missing a portion there. Got more controllability now. I can get it properly into the nooks and crannies of this poor bloke that's going to get gunned down by a crack team of GRS. Oh, I'm behind on the sorry, just in Ireland at the moment, but that's on the Facebook. Oh, it's on Facebook. Who knows? See, I love Steve. He just give a massive amount of gen out from Facebook. Probably from some random person on there as well. Apparently we're following, what was it? Public Health England's advice. And that's why I may be doing random streams. This is why I kind of wish I had more historical stuff. And, well, moderns as well, obviously. But all the military stuff that we've kind of been talking about starting up and doing streams for. I've not really got many models for it at the minute. I have got some Flames of War guys, so, and I will say maybe not every day, but maybe every day. How do you fancy me just doing some impromptu videos where we just chat and I just kick around some of my Flames of War Germans that I could do with finishing out to the pointage that I'd like. Admittedly, it could just be any time, as in, that's what I mean by impromptu, just suddenly get a notification saying, oh, SitRep is streaming. I can speak to the guys this weekend about it. Speak to the team, Ralph, Jim, Marty, Gianna, Dawn, Chris and Chris. Hopefully I've not missed anybody. Apologies if I have. And if I have, how come I don't know your name? Basically, definitely not got the right angle there, have I? With the brush. It's quite awkward around the neck. Good thing is, I'll be able to... I'm actually overdoing it now, so that I get the inside line. I'll try and leave just a black separation line, like the black lining you do on models. But yeah, I think we could essentially do a little bit more, or I can, while I'm not at work. I need something to stop me climbing the wardrobe and pulling my hair out in the corner. So painting minis. Thing is, I've got lots to do mini wise, which is great, but you kind of want a bit of interaction as well sometimes. So having you guys online now and again to chat as well would be very cool. Oh, Jim's in. Sorry, missed that. It's because you're in pink, Jim. I'm blind to pink. Oh, your name comes up in pink anyway. Do you choose what colour your name comes up in? In fact, what are you on, Jim? I don't think, are you on Twitch or are you on something else? Oh, are you really off for months? I've been warned as maybe as long as 12 weeks, which is why I said I'd be climbing the absolute walls by the time that finishes. I can't imagine. I've done it in the past, but that's when I had family living in country. Now I don't have family living in country, and kind of you're not meant to be moving around too much either, so it does leave you in that quandary of what the hell do I do with my time? See, I've not even had to tell you about another colour yet, because we're still on Black Templar. I suppose you get all the hobby and stuff you want. This is where you find out if you're able to do hobby when you've got time off. Today I made excuses until I got told that we really don't know what's happening with you guys yet. Working from home in 3 phases. Day 1 to 3 is relaxing and stress 3. Next, Jim. What's number 2? This is like Jim's working from home. 4 to 10 you start to go nuts. 3 you settle in and it's fine. I don't think I ever get to 3. I think 4 just has the 3 dots after it. There's no -10. Heck, when I even go on holiday I start to lose my mind a little bit. Ask G and Dawn. It's like, what's Gaz doing? I don't know. Why is he up at this time? I don't know. How come all the pots have been done? Because Gaz is here and losing his mind. I'm the perfect guy to stack your dishwasher. I'll wash them if I didn't have dishwasher. I do like a set of marigolds though. There's a tangent for you, which is like a yellow protective glove. Anyway, Science Museum is down until July. Wow. May open sooner, but that's the starting point. Well, one of the lads at work's going to... he's got the photos from... We were out on tour when one of our cabs went down. He's got some photos of that incident. So everybody was fine. It landed. It basically sheared through its tail rock drive shaft, landed in Afghan. Dick has spotted him within a short period of time, and everything was fine. The second aircraft was in support, so nobody went near it, and it was recovered back. But he's got some photos of it, and for when I leave the sergeant's mess, I've been thinking about doing a diorama board. Oh, this hair's awesome, and presenting it to the mess as my sort of gift for leaving. So they can put a Perspex cover over it and mount it on a table, which I think would be quite cool. So he's getting me all the photos he can. He's got a few, and my mate Sharpie's got a crap load. Sharpie loves a bit of photography, and he's a greenie, which is avionics, which meant he was probably doing nothing. Because I'm a blackie, so there's this lovely banter between the blackies and the greenies. As with melee, not quite melee, although I imagine it's happened. Many military organisations that have their split trades, and therefore there's a bit of argy-bargy on that. Cool. So we're dry at the bottom, so I'm going to do the usual, which is just put another layer on the inside of the legs. And this is just for natural sort of body shadow and such. Got a good crease here by the groin, so we're just going to bring that in a little bit. Same for the other side. That should help darken that down. Just make sure we go all the way down. I know why this camera's messing with me about. It's because the angle's it's too far forward and the angle's wrong. There we go. I wondered why I'd not nearly headbutted it yet. That's why, because I'd pushed it too far forward and angled it almost flat. Now there's less risk of me getting in the shot and more risk of me headbutting it, which is where it's meant to be. That's how my brain works. Saturday, so check out what Jim's saying there. Saturday, oh my god, I'm going to have to say this, aren't I? Saturday he's doing his first Dien Bien Phu game in Victor and Valley with Piotr. Sunday is Syria Part 3 in HKR. So Jim's got a busy weekend planned, dude. This is what happens when you start to work from home. You start to find the ability to prep games for every day of the week. So, of you guys working from home, who's going to do some hobby? Not obviously during work time, although work time is now a variable for most of you. In fact, Rasmus, you've been doing your pirate stuff recently again, haven't you? You've been picking them up. So, are you sticking up pictures of them anywhere, dude? Wouldn't mind seeing some pics. Skullback, what have you been up to? You hobbying as well? You got any ongoing projects? US Marine Corps supply split between two camps. Coffee pot commandos. The warehouse men, the box kickers. Yeah, I suppose you've got the option to work from home all the time if you're in a tech company. I suppose you have to be very focused in that, because you could literally lose your job because you find other things to do when you've got all those distractions that home life is. Working from home is. So yeah, spending a bit more time on the black than usual today, if you can imagine, because it being a key colour on the majority of the model, this being one of my favourite models, I want to make sure that we're in a good place. So we might overrun the 2 hours a little bit today, we'll see. Don't worry if we do, I'll carry on even if you've all had to go and get yourself some food or get yourself a brew until he's pretty much finished. I think I will end up doing like a last look over all the models, some tidying up here and there once every one of them's finished. Oh, I got where the hell are they? I've got acrylic bases somewhere, so we're going to start sticking them on acrylic bases. So when I do show them back to you in the future, at some point they'll be on these little metal wedges that they come on from Spectre minis, and then they'll suddenly have transitioned onto a clear acrylic base, which is what the team chose to have them on for the game, which is cool. Hey, it saves me some time. And the good thing is, with it being probably a reasonably large gaming area, something like 8x4, I think is what we're looking at. Did I block the camera shot again? So at the minute, I'm trying to get, so where his arms are here, it's literally up and under there. So there's no way that I can easily keep that on camera in shot. So apologies. And it's not even a balls this time, it's just a necessary evil. Sweet. So, wow. Looks weird with that much black on him. This just really highlights how nice the Black Templar is, though. I mean, look at all the colour transitions on that, the shade transitions. I know it's under a decent light, quite close, but even under a normal light, most of these will show with hardly any work. But all we've done is we've gone back in and done second layers. As you can see, it's darkened down there, into that crease there, up here a little bit. I want another one. Actually, I need some more in that. But yeah, really chuffed with this stuff. Such a good tool. Such a good tool. Bit like me. Good tool. Right, so think we're pretty much there with that. Building shelves mostly. Almost got his new hobby table. Oh, that's going to be cool. What size hobby table have you built for, dude? I think Steve just might have sat on his phone or something. He's gone a bit loony. Or one of the kids has got hold of it. Oh, you put a few on OTT. That was a little while back. I do remember some being on OTT, Rasmus. Japanese like terrain. Oh, is that for sort of feudal Japan terrain? I'm assuming based on D&D. Yeah, I agree, Rasmus. The black is just really good. 40 by 29. With all your paint being accessible. Oh, that's mega. Have you had to tier stack them, or have you put like up a wall thing for your paint, or how have you put that sort of back? Where have you put your paint essentially? Like mine's on the back of my tables in those nail polish racks, almost like what do you call it? Like the tiered seats you get at sports matches. It's on them, and that's worked really well for me. So, probably should mention, we're gonna do a base layer of Warpstone Glow. This is for the flip flops because I want a darker green that gives it its highlight. So no contrast paint this time. The contrast paints were okay for the flip flops the last couple of times, but you needed to tidy them up so much it was kind of a waste of time because of the way it sits, and it would go all over the foot. So this time I'm oh, I printed some hexagon modules. Oh, that'd be cool. From Titan Forge. Yeah, I got big fan. So you went in with yeah, I'm on that as well. So you've got was it Empire? Something Empire. I've got Empire 1 and 1.5, and they're looking at doing 2 in the future, aren't they? It is lovely stuff. I need to get printing, actually. The only thing that stopped me printing up yet is I've not got any IPA, but I'm going to hit up B&Q tomorrow morning, which is a place, and give them a go. Steve, yep, I told you kids had got hold of it. The carnage that is the Davies family. So what happens when you got 7 kids? You can't turn your back because 6 more will attack the phone. Were they sending a message while the video was running? Flip flops for the win. You're not wrong, Jim. Oh, I could do the pink that your name's in. Instead, I've gone for the green of your sword. In fact, this is very close to the colour of the green on the sword. Sword sort of avatar block thing that's by your name. So, I'm probably going to need more of this, just looking at how it's thinned nicely, but is that soul or is that a big toe? I'm going to say soul. I'm going to go with his soul. So that bit's going to heaven and the rest of the flip-flop doesn't. Yeah, there'll be some random stuff like that said. It's kind of par for the course when you're watching me try and paint a model. I watched a great video today. I can't remember. It was on one of the YouTube ones. It was basically, what was the guy? I want to say Squid Armor or something. It's a regular painting sort of channel. Very cool. He's done a lot of stuff. And it was a challenge that he'd brought a friend in to do somebody at an event that he'd seen the army of, who was one of the sort of top three armies there. And he'd done such a nice paint job in such a short time. A challenge was raised to sort of showcase it. So when it's down like that. Okay, I've noticed that just the focus is a little off on this when it's low. So while I've got it in that position, I'm just going to change the focus a second, guys. So that's unfocused. There we go, that's sharper. I just want a bit of in between, so yeah, that stays reasonably in focus. Dragon Empire, that was it. Couldn't remember the bloody name of it. Moderator, sword. Ah, I didn't know that. Is that because you can chop people off? A bit like Justin with nail clippers. I've totally forgotten what I was talking about. Ah, the video I was watching. So they got this guy on, and he was, admittedly, he wasn't doing historic, But what he was doing the... Oh my god, this is really... Night. It was the Warhammer, like Age of Sigmar, one of the Start Collecting box sets. It's the one with ghouls in it, and it's got a zombie dragon. It's actually quite a nice box. And the challenge was to paint it from... Did he prime it first? I want to say I think it was primed after the clock started, but it was in 8 hours. So to paint to an excellent level, right, really good tabletop standard, in 8 hours, and it blew me away. He did it comfortably. He had some minutes left to do a bit extra work, and his finished product was just excellent. And the amount of time he'd sunk into it in comparison to what the finished article was, it takes me 2 hours to paint one of these guys. So it just shows how big a distance I am away from being like those people. Can you imagine being able to paint if he commission paints, you must be laughing. Yeah, that's it. Squidmar, that's him. See, Steve knows. Have you watched that one? But if he can paint an entire starter box in 7.5 hours, he did the basing, just stuck on some stuff after. Well, he did most of the basing during it. He just stuck the tufts on after because he forgot the tufts. And bear in mind, he did have a few minutes left that he didn't use that he could have used, for the tufts. Sorry, I'm just thinning down the green again because I've had to add a bit more because I was running out. Just make sure this has got a nice thin even coat. So this green holds a lot of pigment. When I first watered it down, it didn't leave me a smooth, clean finish. So I've just added more to the palette, watered it down again, and we'll give it another go. Got some right camera angles going on today, haven't we? But yeah, 8 hours was a crazy short time to paint that much. Dragon Empire, and then they did the older stuff, 70%. Oh, the 70% off thing. Yeah, I picked up some of the stuff. I didn't pick up the demons. The demons never took my fancy, but I know people, thinking back on it, I maybe should get them for the scenery and the bases, because that's one of the things I love most about the current deal that Titan Forge are doing. Is not only are you getting miniatures, you're getting scenery and bases as well. Right, let's just adjust that. Just not struggling with getting the camera to where I want it to be today, which is unusual. There we go. Change the focus back. Now we've come up from working low down. Should be more like the norm now. The next one's vampires that they're releasing, which is very cool. I'm hoping they do some historical, because the models that I think they're gonna. I mean, the amount of stuff that they're turning out each month. So if you don't know, well, I say historical. The Dragon Empire has a number of miniatures that easily qualify for historical. From Yumi Bowman to sort of a samurai, or you could use him as a samurai lord because he's in the full armor with the mask. There's a number of what you could have as geishas, ladies with these small umbrellas in sort of traditional kimonos, which would be great as sort of hidden assassins. So yeah, I keep putting for Dragon Empire for the next expansion because I want to try and do this Tenchu game. So an Assassin's game where you have all the scenery out, you have the buildings, and develop a rule system that interacts with that game system. And those miniatures to have you go in to assassinate somebody, and them having a limited amount of resources to protect themselves, maybe some specialist cards and such as well to give it a bit of fun. I'd love to have some dogs in there as well, because the game used to have dogs and they were a real pain in the backside. Because not only do they make noise, they really hurt when they hit you. So I'm trying to keep away from his toes here. Trying, not necessarily succeeding. The feet are going to be the worst part of this model to paint, I think. Oh, about to cough, excuse me. Sorry. It was just a cough. It's because I didn't swallow often enough. I'll let you interpret that the way you want. Steve's probably laughing right now. And if Nick Berry from work was on, he'd be laughing his arse off too. In fact, Nick would be commenting at this point with lewd gifs and inappropriate text. I like Nick. Typical squaddy. Sweet. Very cool. I feel like that needs another layer of black on the magazine. No, maybe not, actually. Looking at the camera. Maybe not. Which resin printer did you go for, Rasmus? Ended up picking up the Anycubic, the basic one, which I think was just under 200 quid, which in the current climate is actually a reasonably good price, to be fair. So I believe. Right, what to do next? What do you think, Gareth? Well, I think we'll do the wood. So I'm going to get the wood of the weapon out of the way. Good thing is base colour, so even though we went quite heavy up where the arm is here, and we got the stock, we should be able to get straight in with that. I think we're going to have to grab a drink shortly. That brew went down well. I might need to get a can of pop to keep me going. So jump in with a bit of brown. Let's get some water in that. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a grip for this one here. To there. So yeah, I've got Flames of War I can be getting on with. I've got a reasonable size force at the minute. I think 75 points for those guys that play. That's a reasonable chunk to play with. Not quite a full game size. In fact, I don't know why I'm trying to dodge the finger ends really badly when I can just paint over them and sort it out after. So that I've got a nice clean line for the wood. Yeah, the 75 points currently consists of, let me think. So, I initially built the first force with the Fortress book. And it's, how many panzers? It's a HQ of 2 Panzer IVs, then 3 Panzer IVs as part of the company, with 2 Tiger tanks mixed in. Tigers are really cool, they outrange most stuff. And they do have a, you know, they've got the famous armour, and the survivability is pretty high. But against artillery, I found just the sheer weight of fire of artillery, their range and everything else means that they did get popped, even though they could stand up to most of the tank fights until you got into M10s and some other some armour that's essentially cheaper with really powerful guns and paper armour, which doesn't matter because you've only got 2 of your Tigers versus maybe 5 of theirs, so you kind of just get outgunned. And the armour, when you get to a certain point in a certain era especially, means that they're as susceptible, and the 2 misses that you had for, you know, for your shots standing still out the 4, so you hit them with 50%, just ain't enough to kill the 3, which still leaves 6 shots coming back and just ruins your day when pops one of your guys and bails out the other one. But they're such nice models, and that's all that matters to me, so I've got them. I really like the German stuff. They have these the layered armour. It's like little blocks everywhere. Means that I picked 3 colours and I just went to town on it, and with so little effort, essentially just staying between the lines, you get so much out of your paint job. It's crazy good. Really, really good. Very happy with the force, and I've got 2 88s. Another lovely miniature. I've always liked the shape of 88s. It fascinates me that they're around for so much. Just about able to see over my thumb then, weren't you? Fascinates me that they stayed around. They were in the war for so long. And I do love the fact I can buy horse-drawn limbers to tow them around with. I think that's epic. Cool. The brown is done. Tiger 2, just saying. I don't know. Is there any Flames of War Tiger 2s? I didn't really look at that. Jag Panther, I suppose, is as close as I'd probably have. I don't know how many they got towards the end of the war is the thing. So there's just a little bit on the hair. I've just seen like a couple of white spots here and there where it's just sat in the cracks. And we're just going to do a second layer through there now. Oh, I'm definitely going to have to get a drink. I want to cough again. This is not persistent. It's just me talking for longer than I have all day. So just trying to keep it neat. I'm just making sure that all the hair colour is consistent at this point, because there is so many nooks and crannies on it due to the detail. Just didn't want a light spot that ruins the whole look, which I think we're good. Cool. Right, I'm just going to grab a can of pop from my fridge, which will take me seconds for you. I think we've done the second count in the past. I think it was around 12 to 14 seconds. I'm not going for a new record in case I trip up in my slippers and fall over, because I'm old and I'll break a hip. I'll be back in a second. And that's the sound of glorious liquid. A quick slurp, and then I can talk again. Oh, very nice. SSI Games. Not sure about that one. Don't know SSI. Is it one of the hex counter games? Right, putting a point back on the brush, we're good. So when do I do the green lines is the question. I think I'd have to highlight the black first so that the highlights make sense to the black. I don't have to stop and start at small lines that I've tried to draw on. So I think we'll leave the lines for now. The feet will be nearly dry. I'm going to try the green on the feet first. Oh, I'm supposed to do black on the shades. all that effort in not missing any of the dark colours, and I miss one of the primary areas. I'm going to try and stay away from the top because I can physically see the separation there. It's going to be hard to do these with an edge, but we'll give it a go. Cool, nearly there. It's just a strange bit by the nose. Can't tell which it is, so if we overdo it, and then I can just repair it with get the skin into the right, that's better. It must have just been a bit of an imperfection that was limiting where I could get it to. OPC, Hex and Counterlight games. Okay. Jim Dunnigan, creator of the Panzer Blitz. Oh, strange that. What, so we did digital first? Sacrilege. So I'm told. Where to go? So we're going to go straight to the grey, obviously, for the gun, because that makes sense. But that would... there's no probable about it. That'd be far too quick a jump for all of this stuff. But we'll get the grey out and we'll have a look at what we're going to do. So we're going to jump in with the Mechanica Standard Grey. Pop goes the weasel. Get some of this on the palette. Keep it... water it down, but keep it so it's not too thin that it runs into places you don't want it, essentially. Yeah, so I've got to decide what to do and when. I've been thinking if I can do if I can do a model to tabletop in 2 hours, there's a few game systems I could probably do that twice a day for. I've got some Walking Dead stuff that's kind of like this stuff, so I don't need to go to town on the paint jobs. I reckon I could get it to a nice level in a couple of hours. I could get, depending on how long they give me off, if they give me 2 weeks off, I could get through a lot of stuff. I think I should concentrate on the skirmish stuff as well. Tea's ready. Have a good one, Andy. What are you having? Tell me when you get back, if you get back. Have a good one if not. So I was going to go across the iron sight, down the barrel, nice highlight there. Then I've got the top of the barrel here, all the way back to the foregrip. Just run the edge down the top. Same at the back. And then around where the breech is, the under edge of the weapon, edge of the magazine, forward part of the mag, flip it around, we're going seasickness mode, bottom of the magazine itself, and then just the touch on the 2 angles from there as well. Cool. Let's get a bit more on the brush. That looks reasonably good. Just got a touch back here. That's one of the better ones I think we've done, guys, to be honest. There's a really good detail on this one though. I think that's part of it. I've always said the opposite side isn't as good, which again, it's just not quite. You can see, so this side you can see, yes, there's a line there that's black, but that's a dip in the metal. It just seems on the opposite sides it's not quite, there is no dip in the metal at all, it's just smooth. I wonder what the cause of that is, because it's kind of consistent like that. Don't get me wrong, you can easily work around it. You can sort of build that area with paint anyway and leave a black line, and it gives you the shadow that's not got the physical representation there. But I just wonder what is the cause, if it's just the sculpt or if it's something in production. I don't really know. Right, the magazine I'd normally go for the bottom of. We're literally just going to touch the inside edge of, because it shouldn't really get any shadow at all. And then we've got no detail in here, so we'll just do a few light grey sweeps, the gap to the top to break it up. Cool. So now what do I do with the highlight on him? I think this is a little too light, so in fact, I will do the hair, I think, next. Overrun. Oh, that'd be interesting, doing 2 sets of orders at the same time. I go, you go. I did quite like the, so I am going to do the hair. Yeah, I'm going to do the blonde tips at the end, so this is just to sort of bring it up. Hardest part now is to actually see what direction stuff goes in. You have to kind of start with one. And once you start the highlight, you can start to see what's around it. It's the plan. Who knows if that's going to work or not. So it's kind of like dry brushing. You're just chucking the brush out and seeing what it catches, and then moving it in a logical way to catch more edge. Um, what was it? Armageddon, 40k Armageddon. I like the order system for that, where you used to have to, you kind of locked in what your guys were doing with small discs and such. Let's just move this up a bit. I am in a poor position for body posture, so it starts to make me ache a little bit. That should help. Always try and be comfortable when you paint, guys. At the end of the day, you're kind of locked in and sat in the same position for such a long period. I have done a couple of sessions where I've not realised that, and then my back's been aching for a day or two. Not the best setup is what that tells me for how I am here, but learning every day. Test and adjust, so we say. All I've got in my head now, Cat Rasmus, is a guy that was in a cartoon when I was a kid called Batthink, called Hugo a Go-Go, because I've got I go, you go. I'm going to be dreaming about this stuff tonight, and it'll be your fault. That's better than zombies and horror stuff, so it's acceptable. Is there Viking zombies anywhere? That'd be an interesting one. Return from Valhalla. Ghost ship of a Viking. I don't know how much that was in their lore, if they even had undead in that sense. Cool. So yeah, we took the edge off that. Quick slurp of the drink. Right, I'm going to put a big dollop of water into my grey, because I say it's way too much of a colour jump for the clothes. That's where I don't have as much tissue as I thought, but we'll make do. And then with a heavily watered down grey, take the excess off. Well, where shall we try? Don't forget, guys, always try a trial where you can easily repair. I think this front part of the sort of turn up is probably the best place I can see. Now normally I would panel paint in between the darkness. This time I'm just going to try and highlight the light points rather than panel paint to bring it up. Just try and get some colour graduations in areas. So essentially I can see this is the bottom of this section. So we've thrown on a very thin layer of the grey. Just trying to get it so it smooths out a little bit. There we go. Same for that bit there. It's so thin, this is ideal for just doing a gradual colour, bringing the colour up. And the good thing is if you don't like it, which if it's not heavy enough, which it wasn't to begin with, so we've started to do a bit more now, just add another layer once it's dry. So I'm doing a bit heavier at the side because obviously there's nothing blocking the light here at Seti's elbow, which is quite high up. Looks like a pocket, so let's emphasise that area. Get a good strong underlying colour. Sweet. Emphasise the overlap that is here. And the inside is like a zip line almost. Don't think it is a zip, but it looked like it. Let's just adjust that a little bit. Yeah, it looks okay. I think what I might do with this one, in fact, is I'm thinking of attacking this a different way. So we're going to go to plan B. I'm going to broaden these up so that they're just short of fully there. And reinforce them as well. And in doing so, they should shine through if we wash it. which I don't do very often, as you can imagine. We do some shading now and again, but it's quite isolated. But this time we're gonna go to town. A little bit of, well, that was way too much I just put on there. Gonna go downtown with it, I think. Make that into a butt cheek. The study of butt cheeks is helpful in your painting, promise. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I'm going to go down that route. Totally committed now. We'll do the rest of the jacket this way and then we'll wash it and see how it comes out. If it's a disaster, this will be a long session. And if it's good enough for government work, it's definitely happening because that's how we roll right now. And if it's epic, even better. Got the line slightly off there. Let's tidy that up. That. Cool. Yeah, so interesting times ahead at the minute. Don't know when I'm going back to work. I think they might just do a week or two and then send us back. We shall see. I need to get my act together. There's no reason not to get as much done as possible, except for obviously not hurting yourself and twisting yourself like I'm doing at the minute sometimes. Stretch my back. There we go. Dig into the skirmish. Maybe do a few extra sessions once I've chatted with the team. Make sure nobody's... because obviously it's something we wouldn't be able to keep up. It's only due to the fact that I'm not in work that I could produce more videos. And we wouldn't want the guys to rely on the extra content that would suddenly disappear either. But as you guys are the backers in the site, some of you are the patrons as well, but you support the channel, some of you just watch, which is great as well. We talk rubbish. We learn stuff. We watch me screw up a lot, and we go from there. We make it better and we carry on. Okay, so you're going to be getting back into a bit of 3D design. Well, now you got the printer as well. That must be ideal. So it'll be. I look forward to seeing what you come up with, Rasmus, dude. Look forward to seeing what it is. Is it just certain ships that don't come? I thought they must come with masts. Do they not come with masts at all, or is it just certain ships that don't have them? You're looking to sort of add that dynamic, that linear focal point to them. Trim the edge of the jacket. Have to concentrate on that bit. It just tucks in here and there to close to the upper layer, and you don't quite want to touch it. Don't touch it. There's been some, in fact, something I should mention because it was a really good idea, and somebody's posted it up. Initially, it's on the on tabletop, the old Beast of War channel site. And what they've done on the suggestion of a couple of the community members, I think it's Tank Commander and Taurus maybe, is, so Salute has been cancelled, which is one of the UK shows, and there's any number of trade stalls that were already booked in. As you can imagine, it's a large income for them. At the show means it's all live sales, new products. They build up to it. They put in money for tables, you know, to gain interest, demo area. So what they did were they've put up a list of all the traders at the show, a list of links in addition. So essentially you can really go on the mooch, and anybody that, you know, would have been buying there, I imagine they'd have bought anyway, but with this as an easy access point now, it kind of gives you a digital show. You can go around and look through the websites of all those little companies that really are going to struggle without that fair chunk of a cash injection that Salute gives them. I would say it'd be good to see something from the Adepticon team in the same vein. If Historicon gets canned or is already, it'd be good for them to do something similar, so that these smaller companies have got the opportunity of using the event's profile to draw you in to check the website and go through the links of all the different companies that were going to be at that show. So there's a chance that they'll be able to still secure a lot of sales remotely of the products they would have sold at the show. That would be very cool. I mean, if they're really switched on with it, you could even do the day the shows were on and the days they were going to be there. If they did whatever discount they would have done at the show, that'd be kind of cool as well. And again, just raising profile and try and help out the smaller businesses and the bigger ones, because at the end of the day, if they start taking cuts, they're going to have to start finding the funds or saving money, more importantly, somewhere else. So if it keeps people in jobs and it keeps a company producing the miniatures, that's perfect. They come with masks that are just wood. Alright, and some MDF. You want fighting tops for some extras. More likely to use the FDM printer for the masks themselves, the resin for the details. Yeah, that makes sense. From what I understand, FDM's a lot easier cleanup as well, which is cool. So the grey's coming up just nice actually. I thought it'd be too much, because we thinned it down a massive chunk. We might not need to do the wash. We shall see what we shall see shortly. Difficult without having it all done to come to form a full opinion of if it's too much, too little, if it would benefit from the wash or not. But not long now. I think we're all in the place now where, to me, the hobby and what I've got stored has made sense for the first time. And it's more for the love of doing the stuff than playing the game. It's kind of highlighted that to me. There's lots of models I'm looking forward to pulling out the box and having a look at and getting started on. Wow. So I think he does need a wash. You see how light he's come up, but that grey looks really nice even with that sort of massive contrasting colour to the black. But he does want to be a bit darkened down. Just make sure we've got everywhere I want to before I even look at picking out the null oil. We're definitely going to be thinning the null oil today. Even the big ones ain't that large besides GW. Yeah, but even GW, I mean, it's one of those scenarios where, you know, when you start to earn more money and you spend more, their output must be considerable, and I imagine their one-man stores have had to close because it's group gatherings. You know, they're still paying the rent. They still, maybe they're keeping the guys on. Maybe they've gone to, maybe I don't know what their shift system is. But even they, I think, when you've got that much real estate and those bills are still going out, I wonder how much money is in the bank, you know? Because most big companies reinvest in themselves and then give out bonuses and all the rest of it. So who knows what their emergency fund is. It's probably not enough to run the business for example, 12 weeks that they're saying that potentially people won't be, to run that sort of size, to have 12 weeks worth of bills going out with nothing coming in must be a huge, huge hit. It's going to be interesting to see how it changes our industries. There's a few it won't affect. So those small companies that are part-time, that the person has a full-time job, and that it pays for itself when it pays for itself. So online purchases, no bricks and mortar, not even for storage, it's done in-house, are going to be potentially okay, unless the person's other life, their personal life, their job, that funds, you know, everything, becomes the issue. If you're at a stage where you're not sure how to fill your time, obviously Netflix and all that, but you know, check out all these guys' sites. You know, the YouTubers are still out there. The likes of On Tabletop with loads of video content are still out there. SitRep podcast. If you want to have a catch up, hit us up, man. Get back there. Re-listen to all the waffling that we've done, all the ideas that we've pitched. Get involved. Comment. Message. You know, talk to us. We may even talk back. There's the opportunity to pose the questions. I'm here, I'm at home, I want to paint stuff, and I've got some Flames of War to do that's historical, and that is it. I am more than willing to pick up some minis, do some videos, and get interacting with you guys. And girls. Guys is genderless, isn't it? It used to be Guys and Dolls was the show, I want to say. I've always assumed it's genderless, but I've never really thought about it too much. Cool. So we've got our tracksuit kid, who's looking funky as. Badgers and borrowers. Burrows and badgers. Badgers and borrows. I know exactly what you're talking about. They do some really nice metals, dude. Brennan on OTT's just put a thread together because he's getting back into that. There's so many nice models out there. Again, another one we need to pick some stuff up for. The list is ever growing. So at this stage, do I wash it? Don't I wash it? I think I do. It's just a little, and I mean a little, too light everywhere. But it is good. So we're going to grab the known oil. I'm not going in without mixing this one. So I'm going to pick up the Larian Medium, which is the one we use for the normal stuff, because I want to make sure I don't overdo this and just waste all that time. That way I can always go back and do another layer if I need to. I'm going to make sure the brush is fully clean from the green and the black. I'm making sure it's pretty dry as well, because I want the medium to do the work and not what. So this one I'm going to chuck probably 3 medium brushes worth on the palette, which is that. Click that up. Make sure I got the excess off. Back in the water. Back to drying. Make it a point. I'm going to go for probably 2 of these, so almost close to a 50-50 mix. There we go. And you can visually see it sort of start to, one, it starts to be more malleable, starts to pull to a natural centre. It's like watching the T2 pull itself back together. Right, so make or break time, guys. Let's see if this is a screw up or just a bad idea. I'm not even going to go half-hearted because I'm totally committed to doing this all over. So this is around a 50-50 mix of Known Oil, Alarium Medium, the underlying black has definitely will have had time to dry. This is the Black Templar I'm talking about. The grey should have mostly dried, and even if it doesn't, that's not too much of an issue, because if I move it around, I move it around, because everywhere I'm going to touch has the grey. The one thing I wouldn't want it to do though is to start to fill in gaps, but the medium being sort of a thicker agent is excellent at keeping this alive for a little longer. So if you do see something you don't like, you should have time to get in there, remove it, fix it, adjust it, start again, whatever you want to do with it. He says. You have to take into account that here I've got 2 lamps that are cooking away. I do think my hands have become more tanned than the rest of me since I started doing this. Cool. So again, we're just moving it around, but I'm trying to keep that up down. I'm trying to keep in line that I want to be running perpendicular to the creases where I can. To get it in initially and then pull it up or down in the direction that best suits the creases. And essentially, hopefully, full of words today that end in "illies," it sits naturally in the places where those creases are to give me a nice-ish finish. Right, his tracksuit has gone from being cotton to being polyester by the look of it. So, right now, looks absolutely awful. Shine everywhere. Sweet. Let's see how that turns out in a bit. This could be the first model I've had to re-dip and start again. Not that that's an issue, but not ideal, to say the least. So, what places have we got left? Well, I'm going to go straight back to doing the flip-flops, because once I've done those flip-flops in the new colour, which will be the crazy moot green that we've got, I'll have a better idea of, if I like it or not, for the Adidas. Because I did find an image with this, pretty much this colour, and it was, well, I thought it looked quite good. It's just something completely different to anything else we've put in the colour range at the moment. And I mean, there is a lot of these models. I say a lot. There's 13 here, and the team in the US have smashed out 27, I think. Or, you know, we're around 40 enemy troops. So having a couple that stand out a bit more, this guy can be a bit of a leader, or the other guys can. Gives us a bit to work with. Right, so I want a bit of water in these, but not too much, because again, it needs to be a good level of control, because it's on the flip-flop. I'm not going straight to stripes yet. Obviously, we're going to let that dry and see how bad a screw up it was, or hopefully not at all. Okay, so let's make sure this is pretty dry, which it is. Got a bit too much on, a little bit loaded. Let's take the excess off to a point, and let's get some crazy green going. Probably breaking every etiquette. Mars attacks. That's the next thing that could go wrong. Just dragging the brush sideways then just felt really weird. For some reason I just carried on. So keeping in mind where his heel is and where the flip-flop ends. I've got to clip these off these metal bases. Now I've got the acrylic, well, I said bases, metal tabs. Now I've got the acrylic bases through, I can start to remount these tomorrow. Makes it look like a ragtag band rather than a real military. Yeah, 100% Erasmus. Definitely on board with that. The lack of uniformity in the clothes and the fact that some are obviously in totally inappropriate colour schemes and gear does make it feel more like the militia that's just turned up with a set of AKs than it would be any form of organised group, even like a terrorist group, who more often than not will have a degree of uniformity. The weapons are probably the uniform thing in this group, if anything, and that's purely because of the demographic and of what would be there, what would be available, which is awesome because that fits really nice. The green's not too bad actually. It's not as punchy as I thought it was going to be, which is quite good. Quite good. So yeah, this is going to be a real pain in the arse to paint in lines. I'm not really sure it's going to work yet. This could be another abandoned attempt like we've had in the past, guys. We shall see what we shall see. But we said we'd try, so you know me, I'll always give it a go at least. And if I find it's just going to ruin the model or it's beyond my abilities, I'll happily say so, and we'll move on and we'll test and adjust a little bit. We'll do a bit less and try and do something with it regardless. A little bit of water. Steve's finally joined. Been able to sit down now. The kids are all sorted. How long have they been told how long they're off school for, dude? Is it just the 2 weeks? How are we doing for time? Oh, we're at an hour and a half. We're a lot further along than that. Mind you, I talked a lot at the beginning. And I had to go and get a can of pop. Let's try and get in on this foot. I suppose the good thing is if you keep painting at awkward angles with bad brush position, eventually you might get good at it. Or so the plan goes. You certainly get used to painting with the camera in your face. I've only just noticed it now. It's been like an hour and a half, and I've come close to headbutting any number. So you just sort of switch off to it and just carry on as normal. Right, the tracksuit is looking mega. So it's really dulled it down. Yes, the shine doesn't stay. Just the 2 weeks for now, but definitely expecting to be, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right there, dude. Depending what goes on with this potential treatment that's kicking around now. So yeah, it's still drying, the tracksuit, but now you can really see it's took sort of the brighter edge off the grey. It's made it look a lot more sort of a natural fabric. Well, in my opinion. I could be talking crap in your opinion. But no, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. The green's nice. I do like the green. I think we'll be able to do something with that. I'm definitely going to have to get up an image on my phone, which just beeped over there, of the Adidas one that I was looking at earlier. Luckily I saved it. I'm just going to grab that. So, who did I send it to? I sent it to Marty. Like I say, we were discussing it earlier. I found one that I thought he'd like. We'll just get the image up and we'll bring it into shot. Before we see this, Rasmus, you, Skullback and Jim, because you're all just as bad, the Adidas lettering is not going on the sleeve. Because I know what you lot are like. So this was the green. And essentially, let me get a bit on the brush. Oh, that wasn't nowhere near enough for you to even see. So, not bad when it comes to being close to the same green. In fact, can I even lose it in the... So it's just a little bit off on the colour scheme. So we're thinking the crazy zip, which I've got the markers for. 3 stripes, yes. And then, what else did I look at? I was looking at the logos on the chest. There's a couple of variations. I don't want to do the one with the word because obviously the word is so small. So we can get up an image. So we're just looking to do this little squiggle underneath, and then well, that was rude. And then the 45 degree, the straight up, and the 45 degree angle. There's the plan. It's supposed to be accurate. That's fair. So we're back to having a black tracksuit, yeah? The green flip-flops look great. Let's move on. Historically accurate is no longer required. Jim said so. Never. Those words may never be uttered except under pain of death, and even then I'm not sure Jim would say that. Does not have to be historically accurate. But it should be. That might be the caveat that gets him through that statement. So, I've grabbed up a bit of the original dark green because I just want to try and run this on the shades to get a view, to get a view of what it looks like on them. Because some people said the red, yeah, it's going to be lost. The green's going to pick it up, but it's just going to be lost in the rest of the striping if we do the striping. So I think red is the way ahead for that. It was a nice, easy, quick check. So let's put that to one side, and that is going to be the way we go. Let's grab a bit of Bugman's and do a bit of skin blocking out. See where we go with that. So Bugman's Glow, reasonable sized dollop with a bit of water. Not much exposed skin on this guy, so don't need a huge amount, thankfully. If you were going to spend some real time with skin, I'd say probably do this in a few layers, 2 or 3 layers, to get a good coat in, where you've got it so thin that it won't take. But as this is more of a tabletop standard, well, it is a tabletop standard, you kind of just block it out with one normally, then double up here and there where we need to touch it out. Can you tell I'm concentrating? Again, I'm posing at a really bad angle. Seriously I think I need a lower chair so that I can use the table more for support. I tend to twist to this side, so the left, in the shot, because I put my elbow onto the table to the side and then I lean across onto it. Whereas actually, that's what's giving me some backache now and again. I need to keep fairly straight upright, and it's probably it's a lazy posture. There's no reason for me to lean across like that. I can get more than enough support by putting my 2 elbows on the edge of the table. And I do remember visiting the glorious On Tabletop Visitor Centre, and they have quite high tables because of the gaming, and I never had any aches or pains at all there, and that's because the seats are a bit lower, therefore the position of support means your hands are very high. Almost headbutted the camera with the guy. Oh, excuse me. Cover your ears, guys. It's a bit too late, but that's how I roll. Oh, balls! I've got the friggin' flip-flop. Water. Not too much water. Let's get that off there. Yeah, idiot. Yep, screwed that one up. First proper balls of the day. Right. Let that dry out. As we're talking that, but that's kind of the point as well. It'd be pretty boring if it was just silent. I might as well just speed up the video and do a 5-minute view of a model changing colours. Once I'd learned how to do that. I recall you painted a drop fleet in less time than I put it together. I do remember that boot camp, Mr. Rasmus, and yes, it came together very nicely, that one. There was a look. I was inspired by a mat. I think it was a deep cut mat that they had for the event, and it was an orbital mat showing white clouds and sort of fields and such. And I took from that to do a drop fleet colour scheme that reflected the colours of the mat, and it just came together really quick. My problem is mold lines. I struggle to get the mold lines cleaned up on some of the shows, and I hate painting a model that I've not sorted the mold lines on. I don't know if other people are as ridiculous about them as I am, because I put in maybe an hour a miniature to clean. Even these guys who don't really have that many, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour for me to clean a mini ready to be painted, and that's my biggest time sink when it comes to something that doesn't really achieve that much towards completing the model. So the idea of sort of tomorrow, for example, cleaning a model and painting it, yeah, a good hour and a half of the morning would just be sunk into cleaning the model up before doing a 2-hour session on it. So, mind you, if they gave me 12 weeks off, bloody hell, I may have gone blind and my back would be screwed from bad paint positions. I'd be straight into rehab and physiotherapy for it. Or I could just buy a better chair. A lower... I need one of them... They're like the... You always see people playing a guitar, like an acoustic guitar, on a chair. There's a circle and you can spin it to raise or lower its height. Probably need something like that that's adjustable, because few chairs are going to be low enough to go. This is a normal sitting position at a table, and most of the time when both my arms are on it, it's fine. Maybe I need to rethink the setup, but I'm limited to what I can and can't do. I could move to the... In fact, I could move a little bit further across, but I'm not sure what I'd gain from it. Something for me to think about. Right, so we've got at least a day or two to, if not longer, to ponder and adjust to best suit painting for long periods. That's the underside of his finger. Toes. Oh, heel there. Yep. See, toes are here. Pinkies. Little ones that attach to your feet. Pinkies are fingers, actually, aren't they? Can they be toes? What do you call small toes, Steve? Or toes? When you're mucking around with the kids and, in the bath washing the feet and stuff, and you go, it's not this little piggy went to market as such. Is there a name? Tootsies, maybe? Is that an American thing? UK thing? World thing? What do we nickname little toes? Oh, that's a bad angle. Quick drink. Oh, better. I've got my emergency rations here, by the way. So, I've got a hit of barbecue sauce when I'm ready for that. That'll keep me going. If I am feeling a little tender in the mornings, I've got some light mayonnaise, so we'll be drinking that. If in doubt, we've got an old favourite, we've got some tomato ketchup. And just to make sure it all goes down nice and smooth, I've got my energy drink, my airbrush cleaner, and yeah, we're doing quite well. Sorry, I'm maybe losing my mind, and it's only day one. Day one at Big Brother Gareth. On the outside of the hand. Still not done the white on the gun yet. We will get there. Yeah, today's looking like a little bit longer session, because we're already at 8:10, so this is definitely going to be a longer session, guys. Oh, it is Tootsies. 51 flavours. The last guy's got a massive, I don't know why, flavour just made me think of, rappers and the terminology they use, and the last guy's got a massive gold chain around his neck. That's a really nice sculpt. You can really work with it, and that's going to be an interesting one. I think that might be one of the focal points to draw the eye. Okay, let's see if we can do this without screwing these shades over too much, and keeping some of the face shape as well. Under the chinny chin chin. Not the ketchup. Emergency backup for you, Steve, that. Oh, it could be bribery for the kids. Get them to do stuff. Some of them are bound to like ketchup, surely. Oh, just down on the heel next to the... There we go. Right, let's try and not screw his hair up too much. Oh. Close. I think we did it. A bit more water, it's starting to dry up. So, what are you guys going to be, those of you that are managing to fit in some hobby time, what's your background for it? Do you need it? Do you not have anything playing? No music, no films, nothing? What is your accompaniment when hobbying? Obviously, when I'm on camera, nothing, although I did try Lord of the Rings once on one of the videos, thinking that it was so quiet it wouldn't be picked up by the mic. Never did a mic check, and it turned out that you couldn't hear a word I said for what was quite a long video from what I remember. That was a lesson learned. Probably more interesting. And then I got like a warning thing for copyright. It's awesome that YouTube can pick that up. I think it was YouTube. Was it YouTube? Yeah, YouTube. So it picked up that it was a copywritten song and said you can't get any monetary. Not that I can get monetary anyway, because you need to have like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours or something of watched video time. So 10 subscribers on the average miniature painter, and about 8 hours of people watching the thing is a nice start point. I need to do some stuff for that, because I do these ones, but these all go to sitrep, which is cool. Hopefully it gets a few people watching. I've been posting the odd one on a Facebook page of the images of these guys as well. It's been nicely received to get some thumbs up. Hopefully it redirects some traffic to the YouTube page for sitrep as well, and people like what they see there. Hopefully get a gym with some new guys. It's just more to Jim puts in so much work, as you know. Sometimes I worry he doesn't feel as appreciated as he obviously is, because the viewing pool can be small sometimes. But I suppose we don't really do it for the viewing pool. We do it for the people that are taking part. Rasmus, we do it for him so he can take claymores into battlefields and snipe people from a distance. Well, I say distance. He can trade fire with a 20mm. Last man standing. You were so lucky not to get killed by that dude. It was crazy. Crazy. That's HK Ops, people. There you go. I won versus the 23mm. He did. You say won. You were a little bit injured from some of the shrapnel and the sand kicking up from the shots that peppered your position, from what I recall. Is that right? You came away with was it a broken rib or something? Collarbone? A broke bone. I don't know if I didn't think I stayed to the end to see the roll. If you had any lasting imperfections about your person now. So I'm just going over some extra areas to smooth the paint where it's a bit grainy, as it starts to dry now and again, before you sort of finish painting, so that we get a nice even coating. So the story goes anyway. Cool, happy with that. Sure, need the battle scars. 23mm will get you next time. Wahahaha, says Jim. Jim being the guy that controls the dice pool. Huh? Mind you, Rasmus did his own rolling, obviously, but yeah. I blame Jim for lack of kill. That won't happen in the transit game, I'll tell you that much. I'm not going to be soft on them, Jim. They're dead people driving. I'm going to grab a bit of the white scar. And let's get this weapon system finished. Not to self, bring more rockets. I'm not sure you can carry much more kit, do you? That must have been a long yomp up to the top of that hill with all that gear. Can never have too many rockets. I wonder, is there? Yeah, there is a suppression element to the game, isn't there? Is that right? I didn't say anything, Jim. I was definitely not rooting for the for the team, shall we say? I'm always about the bad guys. Well, in games I am. Let me quickly clarify that comment. It's not the underdogs; they're just the baddies. Right. So we've got some white kicking around now. Let's get the excess off here. Right. Let's have a look where we're at. So I'm going to just nick the iron side. I want just the top of the barrel beginning. Just a little bit there. A little bit on the barrel. Sweet. Touch across the top. Same at the rear. You guys all know this now. It's kind of consistent, you know. We try and keep it simple, stupid. Something that works for me. Something, I'll be honest, I didn't really try until we started doing these videos. I'd seen it, never actually done it. And I think it works well without being too much. And if it is too much, we just chuck that non-oil on it and it just takes it down to what we want it to be. And it is literally Templar Black, Mechanicus Grey, Standard Grey, and White Scar, but you could do that with any white, grey, black combo. So this time I want to try and get some really nice detail on this magazine that I want to try and just capture without breaking the lines too much. There we go. Oh, there's a trigger guard there. Let's get the inside of that. Sweet. So, nice and simple. Draws the eyes away from the model. Really happy with that. Have a good battle taxi. Oh, that was me headbutting the camera. I think that's the first time today, hopefully. I've come close more than once. I've just thought I was going to have food after this, and it's going to be like 9 o'clock at this rate. Yeah, I'll be right. It's not like I don't ever have a time I wouldn't eat. And a little bit further up. Right, hard part now. I want to do the opposite side of the top without touching the hand here. Come on, take. I've got the inside of that bit. And also without it just being a massive thick line. There we go. Sweet. Just feather the top of the barrel at the front. Cool. So 1 times weapon system one side. And we've given it the gap that it needed. Like we said, sometimes you can do it. Even if it's not physically there, it's not a huge problem. I'm really happy with the tracksuit though. The tracksuit's come out nice. Got a lot of... So this is back to... So a contrast start, a layer colour and a shade finish, and sometimes that's all you friggin' need, you know? It's come out really nice. You could do some harsh highlights if you wanted it to look more comic booky. A little bit like what we've done with the gun to bring it out, to make it very different. But essentially, it's yeah, it does a lot of the work for you, dude, guys and gals. Right, so I'm going to chuck a wash on the skin, the usual Reichland Flesh Shade, and then we're going to look at what I think I'll do the hair actually after that, because we were going to let that dry, because I'm going to keep it quite a thin wash. When I say thin, I'm not actually going to thin the wash down, I just don't want it to be too heavy on it so it takes ages to dry. Poor choice of terminology there. You find that a lot. So I want to try and get the wash down at the line of this. I was going to say sandals, but they're not. They're flip-flops, baby. In fact, we'll drag some of that from the toes across to the end. Instead of loading up the brush, we're just going to take the excess off and move it around. Excess, not all. That's a massive big toe, dude. You got a right old honking fat one. Look at that bad boy. I didn't notice that before. Now I've got some colour in it. Wow, I bet he pushes off well. This guy should have been a sprinter. If he dips that in the ocean, there won't be much. The friggin' levels will go up. That's huge. Sweet, that's one done. One Mississippi. That's definitely not a tootsie, that's more like a toot. It's more like 3 toots. So you can see there now we've pushed the pigment to be the lines. and that's what we're after. We just want a... It's not lazy, it's kind of, you just want to, when you're doing a tabletop paint job, you want those defining elements to break up where you transition from a colour to another. That's why black lining works, in my opinion, on a lot of models. Whereas on the guys that are the experts that do it, they just colour transition to perfection with skill and panache. We just get a brush loaded with shade and stick it in there, wiggle it around till it gets to somewhere that we think it looks right. Just going to run the edge there a little bit as well. Just going to make sure the fingers are pretty loaded, so I've got some nice separating features. I'll do the same thing here by running them directly across, so you can see it's sat in the gaps. Nice. We're going to remove a little bit of that though, because it's one thing to have it at the edge of a transition from cloth to, or from clothing, or like the flip-flop to the actual skin, but I don't want a massive shiny section between the fingers. I just want the colour there. There we go. Oh, time for a slurp. There is a reason this is a hobby, not a day job for me at least. Who knows, maybe you'll retire and it'll become your day job when you retire, dude. That's what I'd like to do. Just paint stuff, and it'd be cool to sell it, just to get a bit of an income, I suppose. But I know there's almost no marketing. People are not interested in paying any extra, really. Unless you bought it really cheap as a job lot on eBay and then did a nice tabletop job so you weren't sinking too many hours in. Like that guy that painted that starter box in flaming less than 8 hours. That was crazy. But even then, I bet you'd only get the price of the box back, even though it's a good paint job. It's, yeah. Getting to the stage now where I'd happily paint somebody else's models and not own any. I don't really play at all. I'd say it's kind of a choice thing. It's the rules and everything now. There's so many game systems you want to play. I like the models for loads. I wouldn't be able to retain the information for all those different games anymore. I barely even retain the information of what I'm doing each day. Or meant to do. So here and there I'm just adding a little bit into the darker recesses to double it up. We're going to bring it back anyway with the... So we know we do the cheekbones, so I'm running the lower part of the cheek here. But I'm also trying to make sure that there's no globules, because obviously it will really screw up the skin. I want the top lip visible, I want the bump under the mouth visible, and I want the mouth visible. One thing I've not been doing is paying enough attention to the mouth at this stage in some of the other videos which you've seen. And it's caused me problems later because I've struggled to then bring it back, make it identifiable without it looking stupid. Even with models that have had good detail, although not all of them have, to be fair to myself. Let's get some colour in that ear. Let's give it some depth. Yeah, that one's good. The mouth's good. I just want a bit more top lip and under the nose. So bring that one more into the nostril area, one more on the nose, and the forehead. I'm just doing from the So from that line in the neck there, you can see I've just gone darker that way, and I'll go darker up as well. So it just does a bit of the work for me. And the same this side, grab a bit on the brush, take the excess off. I want to define the line first with literally drawing the line, and then I'm just going to do a few lines down and a few lines up from it. That should help to bring that area to where I want it to be. See, he's not far off being what we want now, but the forehead is definitely too light at the minute. Let's do a second layer up there. Cool. And then we've got the palm of the hand, which is also sitting a bit lighter than I want, because we're going to bring that up another way. The feet look okay actually, so we're good with Reichland. Quick slurp. Yeah, painting minis are costing less than they do in the blister. Even with really good sort of tabletop paint jobs. I don't know if it's because people want their own colour scheme on it, but then when you're looking at World War II and stuff, or moderns, where you're painting to specific colour schemes that make sense, the uniforms of sort of the SWAT team and all that. Yeah, it's a weird one. It really is a weird one. It does keep me guessing, that one. Right, so a little bit of water as always. Back into the Bugmans. Excess off. We're just going to go back over and bring some highlights in, and we'll see where we're at. The good thing is this stuff dries fast, so I already know the bottom is dry. And that big toe is so big, we're going to do that first. One massive toe. Four little one. Well, four. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's not got one that's been melded into two into one even. Oh, little pinky on the end. It's not a pinky, Gareth, it's a tootsie. We've established that today. And we just want a few little light spots to show the leading edge of the foot. It's nice, there's kind of a split tendon thing going on with the sculpt there, which I can work with, even if it's not a real one and it's part the not deliberate even, I can still work with that. I'm just going to put a little bit down at the base of the heel and just a little bit onto the side as well. And that is that foot done. This guy's coming across as quite dark toned, as bloody hell, that wasn't even on camera. Quite dark toned in his skin tones, so we're going to bring him up a little bit, but not a huge amount. I kind of like the fact, because I think it's because he's wearing so much dark gear, that keeping him quite muted and not bringing him up too much in his skin tone will be of a benefit to the mini. Make sure we get the middle, because that's going to be the lightest part. Yeah, happy with that. Finger number 1, number 2, 3, oh, angle's wrong, 4. A little bit on the inside. Definitely talking to myself at this stage. Hopefully there's somebody listening. In the point of the hobby, to do it yourself. Half the hobby is the game, half the hobby is the, well, hobby. I think I go with Warren's sort of view on this. The hobby is what you want the hobby to be. And any part of it or all of it can be a hobby for you. If somebody just likes basing stuff, I wouldn't feel bad about them having somebody else do the painting work because they're not comfortable with it. I know for some guys, just army list building is part of it. They never even go to tabletop. They just love to build army lists, and talk about it, and then often never actually do the armies. But that's fine too, you know. For me, I would fall in the category of I'm happy to paint it, and often I don't play it. It's the pressure of a competitive game. I'm not a competitive person. around here who are pretty hardcore hobbyists. One of the lads at work, Steve and I know, Deacon, he's becoming a bit of a hobbyist now, but really he's a gamer. He's said as much. He's happy to buy it painted and play with it. You know, it's because he loves to play the games. But we've got him painting dwarves. We're giving him advice. He's starting to enjoy it because he's seeing improvement. You know, it's one of them. I think I've gone through the cycle of wanting to be the player, and now just with certain game systems, you've got the arguments at the table. Not the arguments, the discussions at the table of, is that cover, is that this interpretation of the rule, that interpretation of the rule. And that's kind of what I struggle with. Most times I just go, yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it. And then some players get annoyed at that because you're not competitive. They want that aspect of it as well, especially at tourneys. They're like, what, you're just going to let me have it? Well, yeah, just have it. And then that frustrates me even more. I don't get it. But that's their hobby. If they want a rough battle, tumble, they want to be back and forth with discussion, you know, that's fine. But I suppose that's a downside for me going to a tournament, is I don't go for that, and if somebody does, maybe I shouldn't be there because I'm just going to put an army that I like the look of on the table. Rarely is my force competitive because it's made purely of models that I like the look of. So determined to try and do this justice today. The face, and really taking my time instead of just being quite a clean sweep normally. I just get in there and start whacking paint everywhere. Remembering as well, this is just Bugman's back over the wash. You can see it's got a real visible impact. It's going to basically run the cheek line. Same for this side. So straight from where we were on the top lip all the way up to just where the ear is, but without touching the jawline. Cool. I'm going to look at the back of the neck while that just settles down. Oh no, Jim, I wasn't suggesting that about how the people should enjoy their hobby. Yeah, I'm one. I don't even. So I like to try and enter the painting stuff at events and leave my stuff on the table at lunchtime, etc. It's definitely something that is part of the reason I would go to an event. So I'm definitely one of those guys that wouldn't have anybody even clean a mold line off my model, never mind apply paint to them, because whether I ever go or not, I want the option to be able to put minis down and say, you know, I painted all them, so I'd like to put that in for you know, the painted army competition or painted skirmish force, individual, whatever, and see how I stack up. But you see, you go to these events and there's some real painters that have spent years. I feel sorry for the ones that have put years into a project and then really they only ever win it once because the staff don't want to see the same one there twice win. Even if it was still the best painted one, it's kind of it's a tough middle ground because you want somebody else to have the chance to win. But if it is the best one, it is the best one. You know, it's a real tough one to sort out, and I feel sorry for the guy because most of the ridiculously well painted stuff, Right, just going to thin this down so I can do the cheeks. So we're thinning it down even more to get a real thin layer to bring up the cheeks a little bit. Most of the ones that are that well painted have took a long time to do, so you're not going to get another one done for the next year's one and the year after that. So all the different ones that they do over the year. A little too much on, just put a bit of water on it, take it back up, there we go. Yeah, it's a tough balancing ground. I think that's probably one of the hardest, must be one of the hardest things in the industry to do, is running a painting competition, and a regular one. And having a judging team that can balance what they're looking for across a range of entries without it being almost a political affair, because it's a current model, it's an adjusted it's a one-off sculpt, so that kind of draws you in to the point where you look at it better because the guy's paid to have a one-off sculpt done, and it's not a, whereas the other guy's done a great paint job but it's on a generic model, and you kind of need to empty that out of your mind, or is that part of the criteria? And yeah, there's a lot of back and forth and umming and ahhing to do when it comes to stuff like that. So again, we're just going back up the cheekbones. Like I say, I like this guy, so we're doing a bit more to identify and raise the details of the face a little bit. Without hopefully screwing it up too much like normal, where I do too much and that's where I let myself down. So this time when I'm going up, I'm just running the jawline. So I'm leaving a gap as like a square area on the cheek here. I'm not really touching heavily. We're building up the jawline now to give that different shape. Well, trying to. Oh, time for a slurp. What line? Getting tired of the whole thing. Really? What about, does this include like your hex and counter though and stuff as well, Jim? Because I'd associate that with your hobby. I find the volume of stuff often is what puts me off the most. I've got a Krieg army, Deathcore Krieg, and you know it's a lovely force, but it's over 100 models. Each model comes in, just look, so each model's like 5 or 6 pieces. So by the time I've cleaned up for one model, it's probably an hour and a half. I've still got to paint them yet, and there's 100 of them. You know, it's like a 2-year project or something if I just did that, and I can't just stick with that. So I'm trying to do a kill team now to sort of get the ball rolling and see how it goes. Cool. Right, so I'm happy with that. So we're going to jump in with just a little bit of Cadian Flash Tone to lighten it up. One dollop in a dollop. We'll see how that goes. A little bit of water. Make sure it's evenly distributed. Cool. Right, so let's grab a bit of this. Take the excess off. I'm going to start just with a couple of toes just to see if it's where I want it to be or not. Because this is just a very light highlight for the final bit. So do I need the heel? So this one's literally just the base of the heel. Part of the foot that will catch a bit more light. Balls. No, too late. Got a bit of non-oil and dull that down. Oh, non-oil doesn't taste nice. Yeah, I get staying away from mass battle, but at the same time, everywhere I go, I can guarantee a game of 40k, pretty much. Whereas in almost any other game, there's no guarantee you'll get one. Even just big models now. Some of the like the Titan stuff comes in 196 pieces or whatever the hell they are. You know, it's such a time sink. I mean, I've spent what 2 hours on each of these, and this is like 13 models. So this is barely even a team and a skirmish game. But that's fine, because 2 hours is fine, and that's to tabletop. But if I was going to go to an event, I'd probably be putting 5 to 20 hours into each of them, trying to get them to be, another mistake, trying to get them to be all they can be. It's like an enlistment poster right now. So it's, yeah, I think it's tougher nowadays to. And then there's just the sheer amount of awesome games out there. And more importantly, for even just a hobbyist, awesome miniatures. You know, there's stuff coming off the boat from China when they're up and running, from Kickstarters. So you sometimes go in on a Kickstarter now purely because the minis are that nice that they grab you. I suppose another way of looking at it currently, you got the Titan Forge stuff and the stuff being produced by Patron. That's literally every month you get the option to get hold of the files for ridiculously nice minis. And that's something else to paint. I don't even have a game for it, and there's something else to paint. I can do Frostgrave with it, you know. I can do D&D, you know, if you use miniatures as part of your D&D, which according to Jerry is sacrilege. But you know, again, back to everybody's up on their own hobby. Balls. Too much on his ear. Let's get rid of that. There we go. I've had like 2 balls in the last couple of minutes. Do a bit more on the back of the neck here. Jim, have you been able to pin it down to anything that's sort of causing you to move away from the hobby a little, or hobby as a whole a little bit? Is there an underlying? Yeah, obviously, if you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. But not trying to put you on the spot or anything. For me, it was just I had other things going on at the time. We were doing Mythos and some other stuff, and you know, work was busy. Well, work's always busy. But some of it's excuses for me, as in I could have been doing stuff and didn't. But then I should have been doing certain aspects, and I would. But when I didn't finish, say, stuff for the company, I wouldn't then do my personal because I should have been doing stuff for the company. But then I also didn't want to do the company stuff because I was sick of it. Does that make sense? So instead of doing anything, I ended up doing nothing. Let's make sure this is... We're not going to mirror shade this guy, I don't think. We're going to go with sort of traditional cheap ass shades that you'd buy at the beach or something. Just trying to get to the edge of the nostril. Ooh, close. Nearly painted the bloody shades then. That would have been about as bad as I could have done. Let's get back into that cheekbone. Cool. A little bit. There's a ridge just sort of this side of the forehead, so we'll do that a bit. I want a little bit in here, just because it's exposed. Check the neck. Check the neck. Change the angle there, so we've got the divide, but go over it. Just with the one thin layer. Just licked off the oil. I hope nobody comes in using my brushes, because if there's any way that you would possibly get my coronavirus, if I ever get it, it would be to borrow my brush. I think that's true of many painters. Cool. Yeah, happy with that. Happy with that, myself. Right, where's that grey? So I'm just going to do a little bit on the shades while we're here with the grey that we had. So it's nice and thin. I don't want the light point and the dark point. Light point should be sort of towards the bottom. So we've got a thin layer here. I'm just going to try and paint almost the bottom half. And then I'm just going to grab a dab of the white, while it's still pretty wet, to be fair. The grey, that is. On the mini. I'm going to lighten up the grey again. Take the excess off the brush. Don't seem too much like a brush licker. It's constantly my gob. And then we're going to do the lighter one half again. I'll try to. So what I'm trying to do brush strokes here, as you can see, I'm just literally dabbing and moving just a touch, but just trying to dab and move around the colour where I want it to be. And then we're going to go a little lighter again with the white. And just sort of do the rim. See if this works. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're massively over. Oh well, I didn't put an end time, did I? So this is just on the edge. Just on the edge. So I think that's come up quite nice. I think what we'll do is a little dot of white, because I've seen that on the TV. Oh right, that's cool. Where did you order it from, Rasmus? Because I know of places like Amazon are going to critical only. That's where my acrylic bases came from, was Amazon. So they beat the blockade or whatever they're going to do to stop non-critical stuff coming out. Cool. A little bit of white at the bottom as well, just to make them pop. Right. Next is, so skin is done at the hair. So I'm going to give this thing a go. It's Avalon Sunset, and this is to try and give him this blonde tip. Let's go back. Hey, thanks, Funny. I figured you'd still be here. You're always nice enough to say goodbye when you have to head off. Yeah, it's a little longer tonight. Well, there's one thing. I've not got to be up early tomorrow. I still will be. I'm not one for sleeping in, but... yeah. Let's get a bit of that. Cool. Right, let's see if this is a good idea or a bad idea. I love these moments where I've not actually tried something and I've no idea if it's going to work or not. So this is essentially to give you that blonde tip to a dreadlock that you sometimes see where they've been bleached, or I don't know if it is dye or a bleach, to be honest. Having very little hair left myself these days, except in all the places I don't want it, I'm not so sure. Cool. So, dreadlocks. Right, let's just try one first that's kind of sticky out, so I can... Let's try that one. I think the difficulty is going to be I won't be able to tell until it's done if it's working or not for me. Nah, it just looks silly. Cool. Note to self, don't do that again. Right, so I'm going to jump in with a white. Shall actually make these like highlighted versions. While I'm here, I'll just tidy up anywhere where we got a bit of the skin tone on. Balls! I just got it onto the forehead. Back in with the bleach bone. Cool. Yeah. Back to the white. I think there was a couple. That one there down at the bottom was pretty bad. It's got a bit of yellow showing still. And that's the repair done. So instead we're going to grab a punchy red. In fact, I'll go Evil Sun Scarlet first. So it's a strong red, but it's not silly red, and then we'll see if it's light enough, and if it's not, we'll go with a Wild Rider red, which is a bit more punchy still. But this is quite a, as you can see, quite a good red. Don't need a lot. I'm not going to do a rim all the way around. I did talk about that at the beginning. Obviously, it's actually worked out really nice with the shades. Just trying doing a bit of lower end lighting on them has come out okay. I'm happy with it anyway. So we'll stick to the rim running across the top and up to the ears. I don't know, is there a name for the edges of glasses? Are they literally just called rims? Because you get rimless glasses, don't you? My mum wears them. She has a bit of a mix actually. Right, try not to screw up the skin or the glasses, the glass part of the glasses even. Change the angle, make it easy hopefully, not that way, because it's going into the ear. Cool. Flip it. Right, let's have a look. Looks like a stupid headband. Because it's not got the full rim, that doesn't work, which I'm surprised at. which is a shame. I think we're going back to the green. Disappointing. Instead of making it stand out, it made it look stupid. I say green, I think we might go back to black. So I'm just gonna edge them. I think we'll just have the stripes as the attention getter, so to speak. So all I'm doing with the white is just raising it up so the black will take a bit better to it. Instead of trying to cover another colour, which I'm not sure how it will or won't. But no, that did not work. Cool. Balls. Balls, balls, balls. Right, so while that dries, let's have a look at this. How the hell am I going to do these stripes? So Adidas has 3 stripes. It's obviously going to have to be white as an initial line. So we're going to go rough white, down the legs, down the sleeves. The little Adidas logo, let's get some white on the palette. Can't thin it out too much because we're going to need it controllable. I say thin it. We're still going to, it's just not as much. Yeah, that should be alright, I think. Right, let's have a look. So, because it'd be easy to repair, we'll start with the actual chest logo, because it's fairly straightforward as well. He says. This is where it all gets. This is where I get hunched up now, trying to keep a good grip on the bottle, on the model. Yeah, there's not going to be much talking in this phase. Just trying to get the... Obviously I can't do the words, but I can suggest that there's letters there. So the idea of this one is to get the rough shape, but tidy it up with the black after. If that makes sense. Because white's not going to sit on black great. So I want these to be nice and strong, so that I can go in after. So that's the idea of this sort of logo put on. It's a bit bigger than it probably is, but needs be. Let's see what that message was, make sure it's nothing untoward. No, good. Apparently SitRep, a podcast, is streaming live at the minute. I don't think the beep was for that, otherwise I've definitely done some settings wrong somewhere, because that should have came in a long time ago. Right, so white line. This will be the central one, so that I can go either side of it. Okay, that's one. Wow. Where the frig is this going to go? Rather than just jump straight in on a leg that's bent like this with loads of different angles, I think I'll have a quick look at it first and load my brush back up. So that one kind of went to the rear of the pocket, so this one should come, again, being historically correct, or at least consistent, this one should come from a similar area. Cool. So now I'm just going to reinforce that one. So we tidied it up quite a bit, so it's a strong colour. Cheers, Jim. You say steady hands. Do you know what it's down to? Currently, I'm so worried about getting it wrong. My arsehole has grown to a larger size, shrunk back down, and it drags me into my seat, so I can't move anywhere. Like a sucker punch thing. But essentially, I've got nothing in the air. I've got my left elbow this side, across the desk, with my forearm running literally all the way along the desk to here. So that's all flat against the ground. All my fingers are hitting the white pad that I lean on. My right arm's got the elbow on the edge of the desk, is resting against this hand that's on the ground, and everything's, so it's about as built up a firing position as you could have. Oh. Quick slurp. That's the can finished. I'm on a timer now, before I dehydrate, because I'll have to have a brew before bed. What time are we on? 10 past 9, so we're at 2 hours and 40 on a guy that was pretty much all black. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's like a lesson, or for people who think they can shoot well, they should try painting a straight line on a model. It's like drawing a perfect circle. You know, it's something you're just not going to do. So you kind of have to just wing it and then build it up a little bit and prepare it, and then go back and tidy it up where you can, and then try the next one is the plan. Cool. So we've got one stripe each side. I'm going to jump up and go to the sleeves, which are much more problematic. Bolt sounds too thick there, as you can see. I feel like I've gone the wrong way. I have. So, too late was the cry. Now, the worst thing about that is we've done like a couple of layers of different stuff, so I'm not sure how this is going to take. So while that dries, I've popped open the Temple Black to do a repair. Let's look at the other side and see how I want to work it to try and get it to the right place. So I think instead of starting at the top this time, I'm actually going to start halfway down the elbow. Yeah, start at the bottom and then come up. Seems to have been a better option. a bit linear, but it should break it up fine. Is that still in shot? Just wary of knocking over this black template I've got open. So again, this is much thicker than I wanted, but that's not a problem, we can deal with that. So here, where I went wrong, I think what I'm going to do is, rather than repair now in case it doesn't sit well the next time either, might as well just redo this one to where I wanted it to be. That way, if it isn't right, I can just repair this one as well. So it just goes to show you can't, it's very rare to get anything right the first time. Very rare. Okay. So there's teeth here, isn't there? Forgot about them. Cool. Right. So I've just closed the black Templar for no reason. I might as well not opened it. I'm going to grab the green again, the darker green. If I've got enough on the palette, which I've not. I'm going to do those shades, that colour. And then we're going to have a tidy up and we're going to see where we're at. Hopefully, he says. So the tough part about this at the minute is the red shows through in the places it went a little deeper towards the face. I can't afford to have them showing, and I don't want to screw up the skin either. Just got to be quite careful. I'll try to be, he says. The Vietnamese commander counters are now complete. Nice one, Jim. How many have you had to do? Wait, aren't you working from home? Definitely having a late meal tonight. Cool. Right, let's have a look. So, I'm going to grab the Templar black, clean that up. I'm just going to quickly do the hair in the places it needs it. The good thing is, because it's white, I don't need to do the grey, because the normal colour is the cream that is Wraithbone. So the fact that we did the grey highlight, because we're coming up from a white this time, it should show through enough that I shouldn't have to do it. Balls. Never drop the paintbrush on your model, but be thankful when it hits a place you don't care about. Note to self. Right, so rather than be too neat with these, which they're reasonable, now I need to take the excess off because I don't want it to look like a straight line, but I'm just going to tidy this up where it needs to be. And this will help define having an edge to it. And we're going to be doing this a couple of times as we do each one essentially. The problem with the next one is, so the next one I'll concentrate on getting the inside edge straight. And the outside edge can be as messy as you want, because you're not going to have, it's going to be harder to paint the gap between the two lines than it is to paint outside of that line. Does that make sense? I hope so. Ooh, access was bad. Let's adjust and adjust. There we go. Cool. So, in fact, I want that bit to be a bit tighter there. Cool. There we go. So that's that one. And there's a bit of tidying up on the bend. On this side, just needs to sharpen up. And then the outside of the calf down here is thick. So I want to thin that bit there. No, I'm happy with that. That's what I want it to be. Now this one, thin this section at here. 5 commanders. And now the squad. Half squad, grenade, booby trap, sniper, and about 4 spot weapon types. You love it, Jim. I don't know what all the sad faces are for, other than the enemy dead. Ugh. Then the French. French, as in Foreign Legion. Prisoner of war, casualty, airstrike, mortar strike. Some of them, we use some of the other ones for that, or do you have to do new ones from scratch? Because I know you save everything, which is obviously something you mention every time, and is a really good habit to have. So that side. Trying to keep this reasonably narrow. It's a bit more in your face than the trouser one, to be fair. There we go. Whoa, what went on here? Looks like it was drunk. So I'll tidy up one side. In fact, I can get a bit of skin there, so let's get rid of that. Just a bit on the collar. Barely on the camera. As you can imagine, these are pretty awkward moments for me. And the game will be worth it, we hope. Oh, harsh words. Jim's games are always worth it, dude. Especially his counter stuff. His hex and counter stuff's awesome. Let's have another look. Lost a bit of white there, but we can sort that out in a minute. It's a bit thick on the forearm here. I'm literally doing stuff by eye now, guys. It's just a case of suck it and see, and try and thin it in areas where you think it's a little thick or the contours aren't quite right. It's just trial and error at this moment. More error than trial. Cool. Yeah, happy with that. Right, let's quickly jump in and just tidy these 3 prongs a little bit, give it some shape, hopefully, if I can get a hold right. So the hold wasn't comfortable, so adjust. Oh, that's my tablet just packed in. I'm going to have to plug that in, let it charge. 2 secs. Should have thought of that, to be honest. It's just so I can keep an eye on the Twitch messages, because on my screen they're really, really small. It's probably working and making it bigger. I might have a look at that in a sec. In the meantime, let's get that plugged in, that way it can at least be doing... Oh, there we go, it's plugged in. And didn't like it either. Right, let's see if... Can I get that screen? Full screen projector. Ooh, this is me on OBS now, worrying that I'm going to screw something up. No, I'm not going to go full screen. I'm going to wait for that to charge a little bit. Scared of it. Right, we carry on. So I need a little bit of white, because there's a couple of places that... Oh, I might have if I clean the brush first. That was almost a bad mistake where we got grey on it. So tablet is charging. We'll see if I log into it, if it has a meltdown, because it's got like 1% left, or if it actually can run a video while charging off just a laptop. Probably not. So I've just touched a little bit here that I didn't want to, so we're just going to go in, let's re-white that out, tidy up that edge. I've narrowed the middle one a little too much, so I'm just going to re-fatten that one out, like so, and then reinforce that edge on that side. So we're happy with that. I'm just going to touch the collar leading edge as well to add a bit of white to this front view, which should lead into the there, that looks okay. Just to break it up just a touch. Oh, typical. I get the joining Twitch advert now that it's loaded again. I think what I am going to do, because I'm an idiot, is just run the edge of this collar in white. Because I've not got enough to do. So it's quite messy there, but that's fine, because we're going to sort that out in a sec. Force this white. Cool. Right, let's have a look at these sleeves. That one's fine. That one's not quite there. I need a little bit of white again. That'll do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Yeah, happy with that. So that's that first set of stripes done. Stripe number 2 next. Oh my god. I'm going to get another can of pop. I knew I should have started earlier today. Right, can of pop number 2. So we're in a brew and we're on the second can. You know it's a tough paint when we're into the next drinks. Right, quick limber up, back crack, and we're off we go. So the next white is going to run outside of these ones. Let's have a look. Get the brush loaded, make it into a point. So as we said, I'm trying to keep the inside line straight, and I don't really care about the outside, because I can tidy that up easier than I can tidy the inside. A bit more on the brush. Cool. Second line loosely done. A little bit of a shake. Back in. Second time. So now I'm going to paint outside almost of that line. As I reinforce it, there's less risk of me going towards the original line in the left of it. Sweet. Second line done on that leg. Quick shake. And back in. This upper arm. Make sure that stays in. Nope, brush is not right. Clean the brush off. A little bit of water into the white, make sure it's all good. Get the excess off. Bring it to a point, put it in, take the excess off again. Right, let's try that. Right, this elbow area is going to be a bit more awkward. So the first time it was a natural centre line that I could get to easily, but this time's a bit more challenging because I've got to run parallel to a line that's already bloody there. Whose idea was this again? Dumbass idea. Slow and steady, slow and steady. Yep. Cool. 2 and 2. Right. So, see if it goes as well on this side. unlikely. Good start. Drastic shape change there straight away. Told you won't go as well. It's a lot bumpier this side. Yeah, pretty much there. Let's give that a sec. Take a quick slurp. Oh, sorry. I imagine that was really loud. I didn't expect it to be. Is anybody still there? I know I'm being quiet. Apologies, it's like I say, I have to try and concentrate a bit more with this bit. Cool. Just seen the use of a Depticant. Not sure what that means. Jim's beavering away trying to reverse engineer Viet Cong into MVA into Vietnam. Keep at it, Jim. I know you can do it. You're an awesome dude. Oh. Crazy thing is, this one's not going to be the last mini. Yet, this is definitely the most difficult paint job that I'll have done. Because the last guy's got a big jacket on, so it's not going to have this sort of detail on it. So this is the last stupid mini I'm doing. For this range at least. I hope. Cool. So we've got 2 sets of lines now. Whew. They're looking quite good. That's before the tidy up. So back to the black. And looking at the centre and the outside, if I need to do the centre, that is. Start with the outside first. Let's get rid of that off the bottom. So some rough edges on this side, which that was my aim, for the rough edges to ideally be on the outside because of this, because I don't have to then go anywhere near the gap if I've done it right, and we can then create a nice clean lineation, if that's what it's, if that's even a word. Tidy up where I screwed up the collar at the top. The problem being, that's definitely going to need a centre line. Let's get rid of the skin on that bit. There we go. I got some white where I shouldn't have here before. Right, so let's run down this edge. Screwed up on the white there, that was a balls moment, definitely. We're on like 5 or 6 today. You can tell it's more challenging for me. Just done it again as well. Nightmare. I suppose I don't know, I'm using contrast, which is a bit more movable. That's alright. So we'll let that dry. We'll just sort this one out and we'll come back at that in a sec. Trying to turn a misprint into something useful, better in terrain. Oh, what? So what happened? Did it not hold onto the bed, or what's been the malfunction, dude? Was it your malfunction? Was it a private pile moment? Supports, maybe? I've heard that is something that happens quite a bit with misprints. Power cut is another one. That must be gutting. It's been going for ages and then it screws up because of a power cut. Right, so that black is done. Clean the brush. There was like 2 places on one arm that I have to repair because I did the black wrong, and it's on this side. I was going to say I couldn't see it on that one, so it's one done, and then two done. Cool. One more stripe to go on the left side. One more stripe to go. Oh, stretch. Right, feeling good. Next. Right, final stripes. Hopefully. We shall see. Oh, ran out of PLA. Do you know what that is? That's called a dead man's click in our world, Rasmus. You better remember that as a sniper. Running out of ammo. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. Oh. Is that packed in because it can't hold the charge, or? Yeah. I'm going to have to wait for that to charge a bit. I'll have to try and keep an eye on the chat, on the miniature chat. The good thing is I'm not busy trying to look at this. Third line. In fact, it's dried up on the brush. So error 40 and my error is just not being able to draw lines today. I feel like I'm doing like a road thing. You know when you're lining a road. Good job they're not double yellow or whatever colour we have around Europe. It's actually harder on this side because I'm right-handed, if that makes sense. You kind of got the brush in the way of the line for visual. Yeah, that's much more difficult. Probably should do it this way. Not even in shot. Well, at least I was on shot. just cool. Right, just let. Next bit of white. Let's go for the sleeve. Learn my lesson. Let's try and come up from the opposite side. It's much easier to gauge when you're running the brush this side if you're right-handed. If that makes any sense. It should. Because I can see the gap, so I'm just paralleling what's already there. Oh, that's the plan. A little bit of shake. Yep. Cool. Now to this side. A bit more white in the brush. Bring it to a point. We'll see how we get on this time. Just there are none on the inside of the legs. They would definitely not be getting done if they were, I'll tell you that much. I like a challenge. I've took a challenge on. This is a challenge for me. This is the limit of my challenge. I have no intention of doing any more than this. Seems like the battery's charged a little bit again. Let me just clean this brush. I lost the point. Inside of the leg. For want of a better word, you could stick that up your... Oh, crap. I'm looking forward to my sandwich now. Those are quiet balls, so I skim the gap quite heavily. I know I'm going the wrong way, but it just didn't feel right holding it the other way. This one's going to require a lot more tidy than the last one. It's getting awkward in there now. That's 3 and 3 and 3 and one more to go for 3. See if this tablet fires up again. Who knows how long it'll last, but at least I'll be able to see the chat properly once I watch some stupid advert. Cheers, Rasmus. Appreciate it's coming along. Looks good so far, he's saying, which is cool. It's always nice to get their feedback. Considering I probably spent nearly an hour doing the same thing, it must be pretty boring. Oh, it's the worst time to get a dry throat. Oh, what a time to get a a little bit of a cough came through. I was trying to. I was like, I'll just finish. No, didn't finish. Didn't even get close. I really got to the back of my throat. Nearly there, near the top. And we have 3 on all of them. So next is tidy up. So back to black. Back to burgundy. Over here, I'll get some of the light green on the top of them shades before I forget. Because I'm notorious for coming to the end and going, I finish. No, forgot that. Oh, forgot that. Oh, forgot that. How did I forget that one? How are we doing for time? 9:45. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys have certainly, hopefully, had your money's worth today. Even if there hasn't been a lot of action going on. Ooh, that's way too much on the brush. Actually the green looks good on the shades, I like that. I do like that. Right. So, let's clean up with the black everywhere now, so I can double check everything. Because we're not going to be coming back to the stripes once I'm happy here. So we did the left side, so central repairs are going to be the tough ones, I think. Which there is a couple on this that are going to be needed. Not on this side, it looks like. No, not on this side, thankfully. I managed to do about half of it without screwing up too badly that it needed repairing. So this side mainly I just need to thin the white lines a little. But as I say, that's kind of the point in why we attacked them that way. There's a little bit I'm not happy with just in here. Good. A bit of skin colours there. See, now even I start to think about tea. Good lad. I'll convert you yet, buddy. I'll convert you yet. Make you Northern English. Well, you're already, I think, more Northern than we are. Is that right? As the crow flies. So, didn't do a very good job of tidying this up, or it bled through the... What we did put on it bled through the colour. Which is possible as well. Cool. Right, let's flip that. So, I've got a couple of spots that need just narrowing. And then this has got the area that I'm not happy with near the pocket, which we'll go up to now, and the centre bit here as well. Yeah, there's a little bit of a wider gap at the top, but I'll accept that. You know, it's been a tough session. Tough session. I'll be honest, I'm happy with this sleeve, happy with that leg. Happy with that leg. That line just doesn't seem natural, but I don't know if I could find a way it would. Probably if that was the centre line there. But hey, I'll take it. It's been a bit of a tough one. Cool. So the stripes are finished in white. Now, time to turn them green. So all that was just the precursor to putting the green on, so they'd be lighter in colour. But it gives me a clearly defined route to take. The question is now, am I going to screw it up with the green? Which shouldn't take anywhere near as long, but should be the vibrancy that we looked at in that image. Hopefully, he says. Because instead of coming up from a green, we're coming up from the white. So with the flip-flops, I wanted them a bit darker, which is why we did what we did. Just adjust that a sec. Then in here, the other good thing about going over the white now, it'll really hold the pigment, but also the black will hide it if you go outside the lines a little bit. Does that make sense? I think that's our question of the day today. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Right, 3 lines we go. A bit more green. Get that excess off. Can you even see that on the camera? Oh yeah, you can. It's quite punchy actually. The white was probably nicer, but we said we'd go with green, so we'll go with green. Oh my god, that was a really bad brush stroke. And it stayed. Oh well. So the black will be doing some repair work after this, and pretty much everywhere. It's hard to keep on the whites with, it just sort of moves around very easily. Should have left it white, but never mind. So I've lost some of the definition now already. Oh well. Certainly not going to go back now. And we've already done black and white in places, so stuff it. Bloody tablet. I'm not going to turn it on this time. Oh, it's a quick slurp. Nearly there. So, for those of you still with us, don't forget, Jim's going to be streaming this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, innit, Jim? What timings have you got for them? Sweet. So, you can see the green has taken over the white like we wanted. Just make sure all that white's filled in. Some places is a little more than I wanted. Well, I'm going to sort that out, as we always do. Got all the colour. Cool. So, back to the black. So Saturday's game is, there you go. So Jim's smashing up the timings now, if you didn't know. I imagine some of you are actually taking part, Rasmus. Check them out, dude. In fact, just a little bit of paint on the end. One of my brush bristles is a little bit off. So rather than paint two different places with one brush stroke, we'll just get it down to just where it should paint normally. Cool. So, like I say, we kept it thin on the green, it's tucked to the white nicely. So now we're just going to tidy up the lines now that the green's laid down. For most it's a small adjustment. For that big area I screwed up, it'll be a large one. There's a bit more wash between the lines now, so in some places I'm just going to have to re-establish the clean black for the gap, which is problematic, as you can imagine. But the overall effect is looking very good, so I'm happy with that. Happy with that. Is one leg done? Not quite. As usual, not quite. Don't know if I even did this side or if it just didn't take quite as much. There we go. Yeah, happy with that. Let's go for the arm. So one more model to go after this one, guys, for me. Unless we add more to the offensive forces, which might happen as well. As I say, I'll speak to the team about what they want to do. I'm not sure, it'll probably be next week, because Jim's obviously doing an awesome job this weekend and covering for us, putting out some major content. I need to start thinking about where we're going to go next as well. See, he's cracking on with HK up stuff. Smashes through it quick, Jim. If you've watched him do the transit game build, and if not, go and check it out. It's in the videos on SitRep Podcast on for YouTube. It's amazing what he puts together. The amount of detail he goes in, shadowing stuff, all sorts. It's just ridiculous. In a good way. In a great way, in fact. Oh, screwed that up. Go back out. There we go. Try and get this line clean underneath the Adidas logo to the word. Yep, that's better. So that side I'm happy-ish with, happy enough. This side needs a lot of work. Cool. Thanks for the plug. That's no worries, dude. You do an awesome job. It's all part of the same team. And this way I get more IEDs. That's how it works, isn't it? I'm looking forward to having that B-1B bomber on standby for the militia forces during the transit game. Cool. So there's a few areas where we've lost all of the gap. It's definitely going to be a bit of back and forth on this, because as I say, the gap's harder to do. The green's a strongish colour, so it is showing in certain places through the black. But there'll be a bit of reinforcement of the green here and there when I finish, like on the Adidas logo where I slipped as well. Just on the right side. Cool. Right, so back to the green. So the black should be done unless I screw up the green here. Guys, if I want to give them a... Can't read that because my symbol's in the way. I've got Gaz, if you want to give them a something, I can send a blister of Firelock games to you. It's historical, dude. You can do it on the channel and send them back. Just chuck us some postage. Just don't send too many. But yeah, like I say, I need to speak to the team, see what they want me to do. I'm just a monkey with a brush. And if they want us to do, if they're happy to do Firelock, I'm smashing Firelocking, dude. Like you say, they're really garish, bright coloured. It's going to be, that'd be a cool model to get on board with. Very cool. Ooh, somebody loves it. Somebody's Skyping me. Let's check if it's Jim again. Oh, it's Ralph. She'll be getting his Spectre minis soon. Marty got some minis today. Mr. Marty. Starter set, I think it was, was received. I think they're looking doing possibly doing an unboxing of it. Possibly, we shall see. But he's very excited. There's no way he'll hold on. If we don't do it soon, they'll be open and free to the world at that point straight away. In fact, I don't know if he's... I don't remember what's in the starter set. I remember there being it's like a SWAT team. I can't remember what the makeup of the starter set is. I don't know if there's anything in there that we could use for the game that we're doing, the 13 hours equals 13 days. Oh, I'll tell you what I haven't done in ages. Jim, I apologise. I've not updated my hours sheet for that, so I'm definitely going to do that tomorrow. I would do it tonight, but I've still got to eat yet. It's kind of getting late here. What time is it? 10 past 10. Started at 6:30. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So that leg's done, that arm's done. This leg isn't done, that arm is done. Just a little bit there. So just this leg left, hopefully. Oh, my eyes went funny then. Too long staring too close under too bright. Time to give him a break. Look at a sandwich instead. Tuna mayo baguette. My name all over it. Right. I think we are almost there. Sweet. So a quick ones round him. Just want to do a little bit of separation on the zip. So back to the black. Grades and satchel done. See, Jim's flying. See, Jim's faster than me. He's just crashing through all these His hobby goals. Oh, I've just realised the good thing about this is I don't have to be neat. I can just go straight across onto the jacket because it's black, the same colour. Cool. Yes. So basically just chuck some black lines across to break up that zip, which is nice. Right, let's have a look at this person of interest. So we PID'd this guy, and I did want to do one thing, which is white. I just wanted to get the inside of this magazine at the rear a little bit, and at the bottom. And then I wanted to grab the grey, just chuck a little bit of grey in there as well. Let's get rid of that. Which essentially left. I've run out of it. So jump a bit of black on the inside of that. There we go. That makes more sense. So the hair didn't work out at all. There's a couple of the teeth, not quite there anymore. And tidy up that bit just a touch too wide on the teeth. That looks alright. But what I do want is the shape to be a bit more defined. Can't quite get that shape just right. Cheers, Jim. Yeah, they've come up really nice with the green on as well. They really do pop on the parallel lines. I'm still not happy with that one on the arm, but I'll accept it. Like I say, you can. It's one of them moments where you just got to let it go. So we always say you can keep chasing a paint job forever, pretty much. Certainly feels that way. It feels that way tonight. Test, adjust, test again, adjust again. Right, we are out. A little bit, I've caught that there. Well guys, I am at the end of what has turned into a much longer session than I had planned, but I said I'd go to town on these last two, especially this one because it was the best one to do the Adidas tracksuit. We went with Black Templar, as you know. We brought it up and then we washed it out, and I think hopefully you'll agree that the tracksuit now looks really nice. Pretty natural in how it's come out. Well, there's a little bit, just noticed on the top of his wrist there's a bit of skin where it's on the cloth, which I don't want, not at this stage, not with all that having been put in. So I'll just grab a brush now and quickly just chuck a bit of contrast on it, just to take that out. So just there at the wrist you can see that should be cloth essentially. I'll just go in there a little bit as well. Drag that out. Make sure this part of the wrist here is good as well while we're at it. Cool. There was that piece of hair that needed a bit extra. That's all good. The bottom one took the paint this time, so that's fine as well. Cool. So yeah, it's been a good night. I'm definitely stiff from leaning over and leaning back, from remembering to do stuff. I like how the shades turned out. The red didn't work, that was a bust, so we got rid of that and started again. We got the Adidas logo on. We reflected some lettering underneath it, but not put anything specific. Everything's color coded. This guy is definitely rocking the best tracksuit in the nicest possible fashion. He's got a bit of green for camo into trees, and he's got the darkness of the black for when he's doing night ops. Best of all worlds. And you always want to go to war in a pair of green shades and green flip-flops, because they're a matching pair. The AK is as normal, which is also missing a highlight, so I will just grab a bit of your Shabti and we'll just do a little bit of a highlight on that. Ooh, shake it first, Gareth. Yes, boss. Sweet. Grab the brush. I didn't put my paint palette to one side. Who does that? I should know better by now, shouldn't I? So we're just gonna do a little bit of a highlight here. Oh, that really didn't work well at all. Screwed that up. Didn't expect that. Right, just grab a bit of Mornfang and sort this out. So that didn't sit well at all as a straight up colour. No, that's not too bad. So quickly get back over. Best tracksuit in Benghazi. And I think I'm just going to leave it alone now, because like I say, it's late. Late. Very happy with him though. The shades came out really nice as well. Let me see how much I can zoom this in now to get a close up. Oh, excuse me. It's not a persistent cough. So let's have a look. Zoom. So we have the final product. Let me see if I can just better focus this. Not that way. There we go. So here is our final product. Enemy militiaman in civilian attire, carrying an AK-47, coming to cause problems at the Benghazi compound, while the guys from the black site are making their way down. For me, I've had this as what I would say, not the leader, but a lieutenant. So I'd like to think, he's a really good model. Lovely details, great hair. The shades are really clean. There's loads of really nice creases in the tracksuit. It gives you a lot to work with. So really happy with how it's come together. Out of black primer. So I hope you've enjoyed the show, guys. Again, thank you very much for taking the time and coming on. I hope you got something out of it. Next time we'd stick with black and white because that would have been a lot quicker. And yeah, another great. Oh, he says having lost this stream. That was a gas problem. I clicked on what I wanted to and then went to drag something off, and instead of dragging it, I just clicked to close it. That's how I roll these days. Not scared. So yeah, thanks for everybody who's come in. So we've had lots of people on tonight, which is really appreciated. For those that have stuck with me, I like how crazy you are. You certainly fit the bill with me. And I'm looking forward to doing the final model, the leader, on the next session. So that's going to be interesting. Back to reds, I think, for him. He's got this massive jacket on that I think will suit a red. He'll really stand out on the battlefield, which I think is key. So here's a final bit from our sponsors, Blacksite Studio. Check them out. They might have something that you want. If not, I'm sure they will soon, because they pretty much have scenery for everything. And I will catch you at the next one. Have a good night, guys, and stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Treat everything with respect. Think about what you're doing. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Are you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Blacksite Studio Terrain.